Chapter 328. Since Mu Chichi was a thorn in Grandpa Xing's heart, all he could think of now was to remove the thorn at the tip of his heart, regardless of the cost. Although he could not do anything to Mu Chichi at the moment, he still had a chance. Huang Yao was bound to be in Xing Zhao's hands in the future, but Mu Chichi could not give him anything. How could she have the ability to manage the entire Xing family? Still, the old man had learned his lesson and did not trouble Mu Chichi directly. He simply sent someone to search for girls in the country who had amazing background and power, and were of a similar age to Mu Chichi. When the time came, he could use everything the Xing family had to make a deal with Xing Zhao. If Xing Zhao wanted to take over Huang Yao and become the real ruler of the Xing family, he must marry the girl he fancied. Otherwise, he would not get a single cent of his inheritance, and he would even chase Xing Zhao out of the family. Of course, that was his final trump card. He believed that he bore the weight of Huang Yao's rise and fall, and that he had the responsibility to find a qualified backer for Huang Yao. Under that premise, romance was just child's play, and was there any practical use in the end? Not really. That was why he would risk his life to stop Mu Chichi from entering the family, even if it meant falling out with the Shen family. After Xing Zhao returned to Huang Yao, Mu Chichi was planning to apply to go with her tutor to observe and learn from the autopsy site. However, her tutor usually arranged fifth-year interns, and there was almost no place for someone like her who was only in her first year. Perhaps out of respect for the little bride of the Xing family, her tutor finally relented and allowed Mu Chichi to go with the criminal investigation team, thinking that a young lady from a rich family like her would calm down after seeing such a scene once. Mu Chichi received a call from Lin Mu, and when she got the spot. "It's little Pepper's birthday tomorrow. I'm planning to hold a private party for her. You and the crown prince are coming, right?" "Why? Do you want to surprise her?" Mu Chichi asked in return. "Sort of. Just tell me the time and address." Mu Chichi raised a brow. Qianqian was such a careless girl that she had probably forgotten when her birthday was. "That won't do. You're still responsible for bringing her here tomorrow." This Lin Mu, and was really not polite at all. "All right, I promise to complete the task tomorrow." In fact, Qianqian only had these two friends. It was rare that Lin Mu and would still care for Qianqian. At least he was more considerate than her best friend. He just didn't know if Lin Mu and was Qianqian's confidant, or did he have some other status. But when she thought about it, she suddenly felt that the Lin family was an obstacle that she could not cross. So she was very worried about Qianqian's situation. That night, Xing Minglan had already tidied up half of her room so that she could put Jing Yun's luggage. However, when she opened the door to welcome him, she found that he was carrying a simple suitcase everywhere he went, and he even had the gift she gave him with him. Xing Minglan could not help but feel sorry for him. Other people would look for a moving company when they move. "He's like you. You only have a few pieces of luggage." "I don't have many important things. I only brought some clothes. That's all I have," Jing Yun explained. "You can come in so easily, but it seems that you can leave just as easily." Jing Yun was taken aback by Xing Minglan's insecure words. Then he pointed at the door and said, "Should I move all the furniture in the apartment here?" Xing Minglan smiled at that. "You don't care about those. Come in first." Jing Yun was actually very nervous. He had no idea what a man and woman living together should do and whether they should sleep together. Although he had liked Xing Minglan for years, he never thought that his dream would come true. So, it was his first time experiencing such things, and he could not help feeling a little nervous. "Go and put your luggage in the bedroom." "Miss Minglan." "I'm not Miss Minglan." "Minglan." Jing Yun shouted. "I'm, also, what's the point of you moving in if you don't want to stay in the same room with me?" Xing Minglan said with her back facing Jing Yun. Actually, her face was already blushing. Jing Yun had never experienced anything between a man and a woman, so he was a little passive. He carried his luggage into the bedroom and slowly placed his clothes in the wardrobe. His mind went blank when he saw the big bed. It seemed that he was not prepared at all. Soon they had dinner together. Jing Yun went to the kitchen to clean the dishes, while Xing Minglan went to the bedroom to take a shower first. Because she knew that Jing Yun's blockhead would be embarrassed. When Jing Yun was done, Xing Minglan was also done with her shower. She sat in the bedroom and dried her hair. When Jing Yun entered the bedroom, she turned around and smiled at him. "Take a shower. I'm going to the study to take care of some work." Jing Yun relaxed a lot. But when he changed into his pajamas and walked out of the bathroom, Xing Minglan was already sitting on the bed. Do you have any activities before bed? If not, we are going to rest. Jing Yun shook his head. His whole body was tense, but he still walked to the bed and sat on the other side of Xing Minglan. Seeing that, Xing Minglan turned off the lamp and lay down. Jing Yun lay down too, but he did not move. In the dark, Xing Minglan could not help but laugh. Am I going to eat you? Why are you so nervous? I'm just not used to it. Xing Minglan slowly leaned on Jing Yun's shoulder and smiled. Are you feeling better now? Jing Yun tilted his head and smelled the fragrance coming from Xing Minglan's body. Xing Minglan conveniently lay on Jing Yun's chest, but Jing Yun's heart was beating wildly. Still, he was enlightened and reached out to hold Xing Minglan's waist. Xing Minglan was satisfied and closed her eyes. Because Jing Yun was beside her, she felt that she had slept very soundly that night. But it was tough for blockhead Jing. He did not dare to move when Xing Minglan was lying on him. So he just let his arm go numb. It was such a sweet burden. The next morning, Jing Yun woke up with Xing Minglan in his arms naturally. Their bodies were pressed tightly against each other. He could feel his whole body heating up, and a certain part of him was reacting even more obviously. Xing Minglan might have felt the abnormality in his body temperature. So she opened her eyes and looked at Jing Yun. Chapter 329. Minglan, let's get up. We're going to be late for work. But you... Xing Minglan was no longer an innocent little girl. How could she not know that it was a normal reaction from a man? It's fine. I'll take a cold shower. Jing Yun said very calmly. Xing Minglan nodded and got up from the bed. But before she could, she was caught by the blanket and fell back into Jing Yun's arms. Hugging Xing Minglan, Jing Yun's hands touched her fair body. In that instant, all reason in his mind was gone. Xing Minglan wanted to get up, but Jing Yun held her tightly. Don't get up. Jing Yun's kiss was completely random. Xing Minglan did not know what to do, but she soon indulged in it and responded to Jing Yun in her own way. Both of them were only wearing pajamas. Soon they met each other openly. Clearly it was their first time. That was why they were relying on their instincts. Jing Yun was very concerned about Xing Minglan's feelings. In his limited knowledge, he only knew that when doing such things he must make a woman happy and not hurt her. That was why even though his kiss was wild, his touch was very gentle. After all, this was the person he cared about the most, and he was doing the most beautiful thing in the world with her. Minglan, are you uncomfortable? Xing Minglan shook her head. Her body naturally relaxed and enjoyed it. Sensing that Xing Minglan was ready, Jing Yun cupped her cheeks and asked her very seriously, Are you sure you want to do this? You can still stop now. Xing Minglan shook her head again and looked at Jing Yun with a hint of longing. Jing Yun could not care about anything else. It was their first time. Both of them were in pain, but Xing Minglan hugged Jing Yun tightly, tears trickling out of the corner of her eyes. Because in that very moment she felt a strong sense of belonging. At least she had a lover now. Why are you crying? Jing Yun moved slowly and gently wiped away Xing Minglan's tears. Did I hurt you? No. I'm crying tears of joy. I'm very happy. We are together because we love each other. Xing Minglan had been oppressed by the Xing family for years. She never dared to imagine that she could live with and hug the person she loved the most for a few days. This felt like a very surreal dream. At that, Jing Yun kissed her softly again. I will cherish you whether it's in the past or now. The two of them reached the clouds and hugged each other tightly. That was why Jing Yun skipped work for the first time in the morning and did not appear beside Xing Xiao at Huangyao. Xing Xiao raised a brow and called Jing Yun, but it was Xing Minglan who answered. It's brother. Xing Xiao checked the time and couldn't help asking, You're still together at this hour? Jing Yun won't be working today. Xing Xiao seemed to have guessed something after hearing that, and his lips curled into a mocking smile. That blockhead Jing Yun. Could he really do that? For so many years he had been a vegetarian monk. If you don't go to work, I'll deduct double your wages. Xing Minglan ignored him because Jing Yun was in the bathroom filling the bath water for her. Come to think of it, Mu Qiqi had promised Lin Mu, and that she would bring Lu Qianqian to the place where she would sleep. That was why she had called Lu Qianqian early in the morning and arranged for them to meet in the afternoon. Lu Qianqian was undergoing all sorts of training every day, and was destined to walk the path of a strong woman. Still, she could refuse anyone's date, but she would never refuse Mu Qiqi's invitation. They agreed to meet at the hotel at 6 in the evening. By then Lin Mu, and had already set up the venue and was waiting for a surprise for little Pepper. Still Lin Mu, and would never have imagined that his former blind date would run into his busy figure in the hotel. Lin Mu, and appeared to be a romantic, but he was very distant when he met his blind date. She had never seen Lin Mu, and being so attentive to any girl. That was why the girl did not leave the hotel and instead decided to stay and watch the show. At 6 in the evening, Mu Qiqi and Lu Qianqian met at the hotel. "Why did you take so long to ask me out? I'm almost going crazy because of the teachers my father hired. Go. I'll treat you to a feast tonight." Mu Qiqi brought Lu Qianqian to the birthday party, and saw that it was decorated with a childlike and warm atmosphere, just like a fairy tale forest. "Whose child's birthday is it today? What do you think?" Mu Qiqi asked in return. That was when music started playing in the birthday party hall. Meanwhile, a man disguised as Mickey Mouse pushed a 3-tiered cake towards Lu Qianqian. "I forgot." Lu Qianqian was surprised and touched. "Qiqi, you're so good to me. Since it's your birthday, Mickey Mouse, dance for the birthday girl." Mu Qiqi knew that Mickey Mouse was Lin Mu, and so she played a trick on him. Mickey Mouse did not refuse and walked to the center of the stage in his thick puppet costume. That was when the dancers jumped out from behind the curtains. So he really did have a performance prepared. "No one has celebrated my birthday except for that scumbag." Lu Qianqian suddenly burst into tears. Soon, other cartoon dolls entered the hall one after another, surrounding Lu Qianqian. Lu Qianqian looked at Mu Qiqi really touched. But Mu Qiqi pointed at Mickey Mouse with her chin and said to Lu Qianqian, "Go and take off his puppet head. Let's see who he is." Lu Qianqian looked at the bouncing Mickey Mouse on the stage and walked straight to him, taking off his big head. She saw Lin Mu inside, sweating profusely. Surprise! Lu Qianqian looked at Lin Mu, and although her words were still unforgiving, her eyes turned red. "You're a young master of the Lin family, and yet you're doing such a thing. Aren't you stupid? Little Chili, be reasonable. Living in this world is all about enjoying life. Look at you, it's so easy to be abducted by others. I've only done this for you and you're already moved to tears and snot." Lin Mu, and smiled at Lu Qianqian while wiping his sweat. "We've known each other for so long. I should give you a proper present. You're so stupid. I don't even want to remember my birthday." "Is it because of that scumbag?" Lin Mu guessed. "Is it necessary? You can even forget your gift day for a scumbag. You're so cruel to yourself." Chapter 330. Lu Qianqian opened the box and saw a delicate dolphin necklace inside. "You are so loyal to be my friend." Lu Qianqian punched Lin Mu's chest. Mu Qiqi looked at them from below the stage. She could feel the ambiguous atmosphere even from afar. Only the two people on the stage were still pretending to call each other brothers. Soon Xing Zhao's car drove into the hotel. But when he saw the extravagant costumes in the birthday hall, he pulled Mu Qiqi out. "Childish. I think it's childish too. But it's Lin Mu, and who prepared it. It's very thoughtful." Xing Zhao reluctantly entered the childish hall and sat down on the lace sofa. Mu Qiqi held his hand and comforted him gently. In fact, Xing Zhao knew very well that Lin Mu was moved. That was why he prepared all these for Lu Qianqian. Otherwise, why would he spend so much effort? Does that idiot have some misunderstanding about being 20 years old? Are you sure it's not after June 1st? Mu Qiqi could not stand Xing Zhao's ridicule. She sat down and laughed. But what did it matter? It was fine as long as Qianqian was happy. Soon, a picture of Lu Qianqian when she was 5 or 6 years old appeared on the curtain of the banquet hall. The little girl had a braid and looked very cute. Lu Qianqian was shocked. She quickly punched Lin Mu. "Where did you get this? I've never seen it before." "I asked your teacher for it." Lin Mu replied. "Didn't you start liking that scum from that time? That's why I'm celebrating your birthday today, so that you can keep your eyes open in the future." Lu Qianqian looked at her picture. She suddenly remembered her ridiculous life for more than 10 years. "Thank you for reminding me. I've been stupid for so many years." "It's okay. You're a little stupid and blind, but you're not hopeless. I'll try to save you." Lu Qianqian threw a punch at Lin Mu. "Do you really think I'm praising you? Don't find a man who's good to you in the future. Don't be silly and stick to him. Men are cheap." Lu Qianqian listened quietly and did not answer. She didn't know why, but her mind suddenly replayed the scene of Lin Mu sweating for her. Seeing that you still have some humanity left in you, I won't attack you personally in the future. You know how good I am. Lin Muan smiled. Mu Qiqi suddenly felt that they shouldn't stay inside. Xiao Xiao, why don't we go home? You also know that you are the third wheel. Xing Xiao looked at Mu Qiqi condescendingly and left quietly with her. Those two did not need an audience at all. They could just make up and direct themselves for the whole night, alright? Of course, no one realized that there were outsiders watching this private party. She was shocked to see Lin Mu and Lu Qianqian being so close. When he got home he told his parents about it. Come to think of it, Lu Qianqian was just a broken shoe in everyone's eyes. But Lin Mu would rather be with that broken shoe than other innocent young ladies. Would those young ladies be convinced? The other party's parents also called old Master Lin. Grandpa Lin's face darkened when he heard that. He called his assistant. Go and find out where young master is now. Lin Mu and Lu Qianqian did not notice that Mu Qiqi and Xing Xiao had left. That was how they usually got along. They would talk and drink merrily in the name of good brothers. It was only when they were almost drunk that Lu Qianqian staggered and realized that Mu Qiqi and Xing Xiao were not there. Where's Qiqi? Lin Muan held her and laughed. She left a long time ago. You didn't believe me when I told you that you were blind. I had a good time tonight, Lin Muan. The two were drunk in the birthday hall. But they did not know that Grandpa Lin had quietly arrived at the hotel and had someone splash them with ice water to wake them up. Lin Mu opened his eyes and was about to curse when he found his grandfather in front of him. Lu Qianqian had also sobered up beside him. I was wondering where you were fooling around for the whole day. So I didn't wrong you. Grandpa, you don't have the right to talk to me now. Miss Lu, is it convenient for us to talk? Grandpa Lin turned his sharp gaze on Lu Qianqian. Lu Qianqian wiped the ice water off her face and nodded solemnly. But Lin Mu stopped her. Grandpa, I was the one who found her. This has nothing to do with little Pepper. Don't touch her. I just want to talk to her. Why are you so nervous? Of course he was nervous because he knew how vicious his grandfather's words could be. If Lu Qianqian really listened to him, she would never talk to him again. Grandpa, it's Qianqian's birthday today. I'm just celebrating her birthday as a friend. There's nothing else between us. As a friend. Grandpa Lin snorted coldly. I always thought that you are a child who knows what to do and won't let others worry about you. But after seeing what happened tonight, I know that everything you usually show is just an illusion. It's fine if you don't let me talk to Miss Lu alone. I'll just say what I want to say here. No. Lin Mu still wanted to protect Lu Qianqian's pride. Grandpa Lin snorted and brought Lu Qianqian to another hall. Lin Mu sat on the floor, suddenly feeling very guilty. It was not easy for him to open up a little of Lu Qianqian's heart and let her face life again. But with Grandpa Lin's interference she might get into a dead end again. In the space without Lin Mu, Lu Qianqian lowered her head in front of Grandpa Lin. When Grandpa Lin saw that, he could not help asking Lu Qianqian, Mu told me before that I should not judge a person by his appearance, and should not use one mistake to judge a person's character. So, Miss Lu, tell me, what kind of family education would allow a girl like you to get drunk with a man in a hotel? Lu Qianqian's throat was a little choked. She did not say anything. You should be aware of your and Mu An's status. People like you, your every action is being watched by others. Why can't you be friends openly? Do you really not understand? I don't care if you like Mu An or not. But let me tell you one thing. I will never accept my granddaughter-in-law being dirty. You have a bad reputation now. Do you know how much it affects Mu An? Chapter 331. Who let you in? Old Lin looked at Lin Mu An coldly and asked. Miss Lu, I haven't done anything to your grandson yet. She doesn't want to be your granddaughter-in-law at all. Lin Mu pushed Lu Qianqian and refuted old Lin. Go. Lin Mu if you don't want to hear worse words, don't leave this place now. I'm sorry today. Lin Mu said to Lu Qianqian with a pained expression. Lu Qianqian glanced at Lin Mu and then at old Lin. She nodded. Then I'll go first. Okay. You can go. But tomorrow I will go to your parents myself and let them know how to discipline their daughter. Don't lead other people's children astray. Lu Qianqian endured the unfair treatment and turned to leave. Because she knew that Lin Mu would be in more trouble if she stayed. But Lu Qianqian did not return home. Instead she drove to Jingting. Chi-Chi. Mu Chi-Chi was frightened when she saw Lu Qianqian's face full of tears. Did Lin Mu and bully you? Lu Qianqian shook her head while crying. No. Although Mu Chi-Chi was anxious, she had to wait for Lu Qianqian to stop crying. On the other hand, old Lin hit his grandson's back with a stool. What did I teach you? You can offend anyone. Do you still remember who you are and what kind of status do you have to provoke those shady people with bad reputations? Lin Mu, and endured the old man's scolding. He was angry and wronged. From now on, will you still see that ill-mannered woman? I told you that Lu Qianqian and I are just friends. And Grandpa, you really let me see the most despicable side of a man. You are not talking to Qianqian as an elder. You are just bullying the weak. You are insulting and attacking a 20-year-old child. How superior do you think you are? In my heart, you are just shameless and stubborn. You value men more than women. You ignore human rights and have no basic respect for women. You can restrict me from making friends and you can hurt Qianqian so that we can no longer contact each other. But in my heart, my respect for you has collapsed from this moment onwards. You are only in your 20s? Do you know what life is? Even if I don't know anything, I don't need you to teach me. Since I was born, I have the right to freedom. Lin Mu, and retorted coldly. Don't talk so much. When we go back, I want you to go on a blind date and get engaged. Don't forget what kind of status you have used to run amok all these years. When I published my first book, no one knew that I was from the Lin family. After saying this, Lin Mu and stood up. When I get back, I'll immediately change to a pen name that no one will know. I won't use Lin Mu, Anne's identity in public anymore. I'll return everything to you in the Lin family. After saying this, Lin Mu, and took off his clothes from head to toe and threw them in front of the old man. I beg you, please let me go. The old man's throat was burning and he couldn't say anything. Only his hands were left, trembling non-stop. You said it yourself. If you insist on getting along with that girl from the Lu family, you don't have to return to the Lin family anymore. I'll pretend that I don't have you as my grandson, and you can forget about getting any benefits from the Lin family. I'm only 21 years old. I don't want my life to be arranged by you and regret it for the rest of my life. After saying that, Lin Mu, and walked out of the hotel naked. What was there to be a son of a rich family and a young master of a government? Jingting. Late at night, Lu Qianqian finally stopped crying. She told Mu Chi-Chi, I don't know who told us, but Lin Mu, Anne's grandfather, came. We were drunk and he caught us red-handed. Then Lin Mu, Anne's grandfather, came to talk to me. Lin Mu, and pushed me away to protect me. So, I don't know what's going on with him now. After saying that, Lu Qianqian buried her face in her palms. Lin Mu, Anne's grandfather, even said that he's going to look for my parents. After hearing that, Mu Chi-Chi held Lu Qianqian's hand. Fortunately, that bastard Lin Mu, and didn't let you suffer too much. But I'm worried about Lin Mu and... Lu Qianqian looked up with tears in her eyes. My parents are used to it. It can't be helped that they have such a useless daughter. But this time Lin Mu, and is going to be taught a lesson by his grandfather. He is the grandson of the Lin family. You don't have to worry too much. Soon Mu Chi-Chi received a call from Lin Mu. Is Qianqian at your house? Where are you? I'm at your door. But I'm not wearing any clothes. Can I trouble the crown prince to give me some old clothes? Although Mu Chi-Chi didn't know what was going on, she still took a set of clothes that Xing Shao rarely wore and asked him to give it to him. Xing Shao chuckled when he saw Qianqian naked. Did you get robbed? I fell out with my family. Lin Mu and said helplessly. Is Qianqian at your house? Is Jingting a place for clandestine love affairs? Xing Shao was a little displeased. Soon they entered Jingting together. It was only then that Lu Qianqian saw Lin Mu, and standing behind Xing Shao. His figure was different from Xing Zhao's. So, it was a little strange for him to be wearing the clothes. Lin Mu and, Qianqian, why are you still crying? Xing Shao grabbed Mu Chi-Chi's hand when he saw her. Let's go upstairs. There's nothing for us to do here. Mu Chi-Chi smiled and followed Xing Shao obediently. I didn't know that Lin Mu, and had such courage. Do you think you're leaving the family just by taking off your clothes and showing your attitude? It's not that easy. Mu Chi-Chi nodded at that. The elders of the big families usually had many tricks up their sleeves. They relied on their blood relationship to control and coerce others. Lin Mu and had yet to see how powerful those tricks were. I hope he can stay strong until the end. Downstairs, Lin Mu and held Lu Qianqian's hand and apologized profusely. It's my fault. It's all my fault. I made you suffer. Your grandfather is your grandfather and you are you. I can still tell. But how are you going to stay with the Lin family after all? Lu Qianqian told him. Don't worry about me. I'm your grandfather after all. I'll be fine after being angry for a few days. Lin Mu and did not tell Lu Qianqian that he had left the Lin family. I'll send you home. It's late now. You can't stay in Jingting. Then where are you going? Lu Qianqian asked Lin Mu. I'll sleep in the studio. Grandpa might go after your parents tomorrow. Don't worry. My parents won't be bullied so easily. Chapter 332. Since Lin Mu and was serious, old Lin was certainly not joking. It was not impossible for Lin Mu and to leave the Lin family. Early the next morning, old Lin told everyone in the Lin family that Lin Mu and no longer wanted to live as a young master of the Lin family. That was why he was no longer a young master of the Lin family, and the public would no longer have to give him face. In short, the Lin family no longer recognized him. Of course, even if the Lin family expressed their attitude towards Lin Mu, they would not leave out the Lu family. Old Lin personally went to Lu Holdings and requested to meet Papa Lu. Papa Lu did not know why old Lin came because he did not interfere with his daughter's friendships. Still, he was wary when he saw the Lin family's aggressive attitude. May I know what business you have with me, Boss Lin? Papa Lu did not remember having much of a relationship with the Lin family. I'm here today because of your daughter and my grandson. Old Master Lin opened the door and said to Papa Lu, since you're both smart people, I'll be straightforward. Your daughter's current condition makes it unsuitable for her to be with someone else's young master. I'll discipline my grandson, but I'll have to trouble you to discipline your own daughter as well. What do you mean, Elder Lin? Papa Lu's face darkened. It seems that you don't know about it. Last night it was your daughter's birthday and the two of them got drunk in the hotel lobby. Papa Lu asked old Lin in return, since it was not a room there must have been someone else there. It's not like they were alone, is it? I don't know if they were alone, but I do know that it was ugly. My grandson is innocent and he still has to face others in the future. At that, Papa Lu finally understood why the old man came to Lu Holdings early in the morning. Being protective of his daughter, Papa Lu naturally did not give him a friendly look. Elder Lin, are you misunderstanding something? Our Lu family is a big family and we won't let her marry just anyone. Who can say for sure about the officials these days? Who knows, if she falls from her position we would have to be separated by a wall in the future. I naturally know how to discipline my daughter. Of course, since Boss Lin has come all the way here, I can't let you return empty-handed. Xiao, go and invite Miss Lin here. Because Lu Qianqian was also in the company training to be her successor. After a while, Lu Qianqian entered the reception room and walked up to Papa Lu. Are you and the grandson of the Lin family a couple? Lu Qianqian shook her head. Since they're not a couple, why are you so busy, Elder Lin? And Qianqian, can you set your sights higher when it comes to making friends? Old Master Lin was naturally enraged, but he was still in the Lu family's territory. Dad, I'll pay attention in the future. It's not that I want to criticize you, but your father is an all-powerful figure in the business world. Who hasn't he met? In the future, all you need to do is find someone who treats you well. What official's son? What third generation? They're all empty words. If a person's soul isn't clean, even if his body is clean, it's useless. Old Master Lin didn't get anything and returned in disappointment. He did not expect Papa Lu to be so protective. Dad, I've embarrassed you again. Looking at Lu Qianqian's expression, Papa Lu quickly said, it's not your fault. What right does an outsider have to criticize my daughter? And are you really close to that boy from the Lin family? Dad, you don't object, do you? He's a good man. But his family is difficult. Still, Papa Lu did not interfere with Lu Qianqian because he knew that she was one of his daughter's last friends. I'm still young and can still protect you. But what will you do when I'm old and useless? I won't. I'll never be old. Lu Qianqian threw herself into her father's arms. Still, Lu Qianqian's heart ached at Lin Mu An's current situation. The young master of the Lin family was chased out by his family just because of her. So she planned to visit Lin Muan later. He wondered how he was doing in the studio. Old Master Lin asked his men to find the best young lady from the aristocratic families, and asked her to be similar to Mu Qiqi. In less than 2 days he got the name list. His assistant told Old Master Sheng about the most suitable candidate. Miss Gu, be it in terms of background or appearance, is the most suitable candidate for the chairman. Her father is a diplomat, her mother is in the shipbuilding industry, and her grandfather's background is even more extraordinary. Old Master Sheng looked at her photo and then at the background. Compared to others, Mu Qiqi was like the difference between heaven and earth. Only a girl like her would be a good match for Xing Shao. What do you think? However, they were, after all, a powerful family. This matter wasn't something that could be facilitated by the old master's wishful thinking. The other party's family had to be willing as well. Whatever the case may be, Miss Gu had caught Old Master Sheng's eye. She was the most ideal candidate for his granddaughter-in-law. Of course, Old Master Sheng was very secretive about it and did not let anyone know about it. Otherwise Xing Shao would make a big fuss. On the other hand, Mu Qiqi had gotten a place to accompany her tutor on a field trip. She was attending a speech at the university. Mu Qiqi did not know who the speaker was, but found his face rather familiar, as if she had seen him somewhere before. Mu Qiqi scratched her head and asked her classmate, "Who is he?" She smiled and rolled her eyes. "Why are you here if you don't know who he is?" "I'm here to wait for my tutor," Mu Qiqi explained. "All right." His surname is Su, and his family is mainly involved in the research of medical equipment. They have made great contributions to the medical field. "Are you interested in him, Qiqi? Isn't the crown prince going crazy?" "No, I just have a feeling that I've seen him somewhere," Mu Qiqi explained. "He's very good. He's in his early 40s and has won many international awards." Mu Qiqi was not interested in those things. Of course, she could not connect that man with anyone's face at the moment. Moreover, the world was so vast that it was not unusual for there to be similarities, and it was not worth her special attention. "My tutor is coming out. I'm leaving." Mu Qiqi rose from her seat and followed her tutor. Still, she paid special attention to the man's identity. Su Yihong. "You're lucky today. Today's field trip is a major murder case, but you must be mentally prepared. The scene will stink, and most importantly, I won't walk around or touch anything because I have to protect the scene." Mu Qiqi finished her tutor's words. Chapter 333. Mu Qiqi was just a freshman. She was obviously the least qualified to stand in front of the fifth-year seniors. The group followed the forensics team to the crime scene, and Mu Qiqi could smell the stench of corpses from afar. It was winter. Even if Jianchuan was not as cold as other places, the time of death would not have been short if the corpses had such a stench. The others covered their mouths, but Mu Qiqi was the only one who appeared overly calm. The tutor was in front. After looking at the 3 corpses, he asked the students, "Can you find any valuable clues from the scene?" The corpses were in the bushes. 2 men were lying on their sides in an irregular pattern, while the other half of a woman's body was submerged in the water, while her lower body was stuck in the mud by the shore. The students took a careful look and took a few steps back. They had no clue. After all, it was the first time they had seen such a disgusting scene. Meanwhile, Mu Qiqi kept observing. She did not dare to move around, afraid that she would destroy any clues. "What about you, Qiqi?" "Tutor, she's just a freshman. What could she know? And she's a delicate rich wife." One of the seniors began to mock her. There was some distance between the 3 corpses, which was why Mu Qiqi could only see the woman's corpse. Although the female corpse's head is facing the water, she must have been drowned. Look carefully at her legs, they are crossed in an X shape. This is because after she died, the movement of the water changed the direction of her body. Why wasn't she washed away? Because she must have been kneeling and her knees and thighs were too deep in the mud. After hearing this, the tutor nodded. "If you were given a chance to get close to this female corpse, would you be able to estimate the approximate time of her death?" "There are many ways to determine the time of death. An autopsy is needed." "Tutor, it's impossible to get accurate information by getting close to the corpse." The tutor nodded. Still, he suddenly felt that Mu Qiqi was born to be a forensic doctor. "Is this your first time?" "Yes." Mu Qiqi nodded. "Why aren't you throwing up?" "I don't think it's that disgusting." Because of her reverence for the dead, She did not find it scary when she remembered her mother's charred body when she died. I'll bring you out often in the future. The instructor felt that he was a good seedling. I brought you here today to let you see how a forensic doctor works. We'll talk about the rest in the future. Do you want to take a look at the forensics department? Of course I do. I think it's better if we don't go. A few of the senior brothers couldn't take it anymore. After all, it was a huge case the moment they arrived. Then come with me, Chi-Chi. All right. Mu-Chi-Chi nodded. Mu-Chi-Chi looked at the time and felt that it was too late. She was about to call Xing Xiao, but just as she took out her phone, Xing Xiao called her. Little one, you can't move when you see a corpse? You don't even know how to go home. I'll be right back. I'm at the entrance of the Criminal Investigation Unit. Come out, Xing Xiao said and hung up. Meanwhile, Mu-Chi-Chi carefully sniffed herself to see if there was any strange smell. When she saw Xing Xiao outside, she ran to him with a smile. However, Xing Xiao's nose was very sensitive. Now you're a real stinky thing. I can't smell it. Go back and take a bath. Xing Xiao ordered and brought Mu-Chi-Chi back to Jingting. Before Mu-Chi-Chi could say anything, he dragged her upstairs and threw her into the bathtub. Can you take it? What? I'm the only student who didn't puke today. Xiao, I don't know why. I was only thinking about deciphering the secrets left behind by the deceased and finding the murderer. That's why I didn't notice the stench at all. That's right. Xing Xiao pinched Mu-Chi-Chi's nose as he washed her hair. I've really underestimated you. My Xing Xiao's woman is so different. You're going to stink in the future. Well, I'll have to force myself to wash you a few more times. In the real world, there were many people who would stay away from forensics. Even ordinary people would do that, let alone Xing Xiao, the crown prince of Huangyao. Even so, he had never disrespected anyone's profession. It was also one of the reasons Mu-Chi-Chi loved him wholeheartedly. Because it was a personal charm that not everyone could achieve. But Grandpa won't want to see me when he finds out. What does it have to do with Grandpa if you live with me for the rest of your life? Really? Not a shadow? Many people would say that they would think of dismembered corpses when they see a forensics doctor. Silly thing, you've grown up. You've become more mature. Mu-Chi-Chi used to avoid the Mu family at all costs, and now the little one was not even afraid of corpses. Wasn't her improvement 1,000 miles in a day? Grandpa Xing didn't have the energy to discuss Mu-Chi-Chi's profession at the moment, because he was trying to reach an agreement with the Gu family. After all, Xing Xiao had a fiancé now, and it wouldn't be easy to mistreat the Gu family. If the Gu family agreed, he would find an excuse to bring Miss Gu into the Xing family, claiming that she was the granddaughter of an old friend. Then she would familiarize herself with the Xing family, Huang Yao and Xing Xiao. When the time was right, he would have Xing Xiao dump Mu-Chi-Chi and officially marry Miss Gu. Still, whether it would work or not depended on whether the young lady of the Gu family was really interested in Xing Xiao. If this matter went smoothly, he would invite her to his home during his birthday banquet in March. Of course, he wouldn't reveal Miss Gu's identity then, but he would let Mu-Chi-Chi know how powerful her opponent was. 8 o'clock at Lin Mu An's studio. Now that the Lin family had announced that they had cut ties with Lin Mu An, many people who were interested in his background took the chance to kick him when he was down. Moreover, when Lin Mu An told his agent that he would change his pen name and bury the name Lin Mu, his agent thought that he was crazy. You know how the market is now, but you're telling me that you're not going to use the name Lin Mu An anymore. Then, everything you've accumulated will go to waste. Not only that, you'll have to start all over again. Do you know how difficult it is to start all over again? I'm not afraid of difficulties. Lin Mu An, wake up. Is it worth it for a woman? As a matter of fact, Lu Qianqian was outside his studio. She heard their conversation and she felt terrible. Do you think that I can't achieve anything without the Lin family? Isn't that so? I didn't rely on the Lin family, but I still became famous. Lin Mu An retorted. I have the ability, but I won't force you if you don't believe me. Chapter 334. Why do you all think I'm doing this for Qianqian? Lin Mu An asked in return. Not for anyone but myself. Do you want me to follow Grandpa's arrangements and marry a woman I don't know and live like this for the rest of my life? What's wrong with Grandpa arranging things for you? A young master like you has never suffered and only knows how to be willful and reckless every day. How do you know I've never suffered? Lin Mu An retorted. Realizing that he might have said the wrong thing, The manager quickly turned his face away. I only know now that in your heart, I'm just a useless young master who only knows how to rely on my family. Young Master Lin, you're not. I understand. I don't want to be a burden to you either. You should go and find a positive boss who knows how to grasp opportunities. The two quarreled and the manager could only sigh and leave Lin Muan's studio. But the moment he opened the door he saw Lu Qianqian behind it. Lin Muan's manager was stunned, but he still left without looking back. Lu Qianqian quickly went in and put the cake on the table. Then she asked Lin Muan, "Didn't you say that your grandfather would only be angry for a few days?" Little Pepper. Lin Muan shrugged. I'm not as weak as you think. I can live on my own even if I leave the Lin family. Actually, your manager is right. How many people want a chance like yours? You think so too. Lu Qianqian smiled and gave him the cake. I believe you can be independent, but I don't believe you can escape from your grandfather. Have you ever been poor? I didn't eat for 2 days and hid under a bridge for 3. Does that count? Actually, I have the courage to leave the Lin family completely. Lin Muan smiled at Lu Qianqian. Do you know what I did behind my grandfather's back before I started writing my book? I enrolled in the police academy to escape from my grandfather's control. The military and the police are two different systems, and I don't want to be under my grandfather's control. But he threatened me with illness, so I quit school. And then I started writing my book. Lu Qianqian felt as if she had met a new Lin Muan at that. This kind of feeling was actually quite good, because she knew that Lin Muan wasn't the kind of secular young master who was willing to accept being suppressed by his family. He could endure hardship. Then what are your plans now? I want to apply to resume my studies. Maybe you don't believe me, but before you appeared, I did think about staying in my grandfather's palm for the rest of my life. But when he treated you like that, I thought to myself, why would I sacrifice my youth to protect someone I don't think is worth it? Although I was born in the Lin family, I have my own ideals. I am also an independent person. I don't want to make those socialites happy every day, I just want my good friend to be happy. After Lu Qianqian heard this, she held Lin Muan's hand. Since you want to do this, then let's do it. We're all adults. Make your choice and bear the consequences. As long as you don't regret your choice, I don't think there's anything to hesitate about. You won't lose me as a friend. Little Pepper. Maybe you're the only one who supports me like this. You're wrong. There's also Chi-Chi. He's my best friend. If I support you, she will support you too. Moreover, think about it. She's the fiancée of the Xing family's crown prince. But she didn't change her course to study finance or management. She's still studying forensics. You're both people who hold on to your dreams. At Lu Qianqian's words, Lin Muan ate the pastries she bought. Let's do that. But I'm going back to school. You have to visit me often. Got it? Who asked you to suffer in there? I'll give you more drumsticks when I go back. With that, both of them laughed. What poor people did every day was to change their fate through hard work. It was the same for the rich. So what if they were rich? They had no choice in their lives. With that decision, Lin Muan went to school early the next morning and asked his tutor to resume his studies. Lin Muan was actually a good seedling. It was just that his grandfather kept interfering with his dangerous work. That was why the school was helpless at the time. Now that Lin Muan returned on his own, the tutor could not be happier. Still, he was worried that his grandfather would stop him again. What if your grandfather gets sick and threatens you again? That's because I'm unfilial. He was too young to be frightened then. But this time it was different. Tell me, what made you change like this? What made you so determined? You have a girlfriend? Lin Muan smiled, looking silly. We're just friends. But he wanted to protect Lu Qianqian. He had met a scumbag before and was now discriminated against by others. He wanted a strong body and strong will. Wouldn't that make him better able to protect his friends and lovers? He just did not know how old Lin would feel when he learned that he had resumed his studies. Meanwhile, Lu Qianqian worked even harder because of Lin Muan's encouragement. Because she could feel Lin Muan's passionate friendship, it was more precious than anything to her. What Lin Muan wanted to change was what she wanted to change too. There were too many doubts and speculations about young people in this world. But could they not be forgiven after making a mistake? Lu Qianqian did not believe it. On the other hand, old Xing had contacted the Gu family. But they had not officially met yet. Perhaps because of his guilty conscience, Grandpa Xing had not been bothering Mu Qiqi even verbally. Mama Xing almost thought that he had changed. After sixth brother had messed up Huang Yao, he knew where he stood. Even if he still hated Mu Qiqi, his most important goal now was to find his sister. Xing Minghui was nowhere to be found, and old Xing regretted it very much. There were only 2 daughters in the Xing family. Now that 4th sister was driven away and 7th sister was chased out, old Xing felt that it was not perfect to have one less daughter in the Xing family. He thought to himself that he should find some time to visit Minglan and bring her back. At most he would not interfere with her company. But he did not know that Xing Minglan and Jing Yun were living together now. He would probably go crazy if he saw them. Late at night, Mu Qiqi was sitting on the sofa at home thinking about who that Su person looked like. Chapter 335. What is it, Miss Mu Qiqi? Miss Qiqi, Jing Yun asked. There's a man with the surname Su who has been giving a speech in Xingting these few days. He looks very similar to you. I noticed him the first time I saw him, especially his eyes. Mu Qiqi took out her phone and showed him a photo. After listening, Jing Yun took the phone and looked at it and was a little surprised. Don't they look alike? Won't we know if we check? Xing Xiao was not obsessed with photos. He would know everything after a DNA test. But how do we get his DNA? Are we going to ask for it directly? Let's check his background first. Xing Xiao did not want to disturb Jing Yun's mind right now. The world is so big. There are always people who look alike. You're right, Xiao Xiao. This was the first time Jing Yun felt something strange in his heart. He had never hoped that his family would still be alive. Whether he could find them or not, he was already very satisfied with his current life. In fact, it was good to maintain the status quo. From the looks of it, he doesn't actually want to cause trouble and distance himself from 4th sister. Xing Zhao's words exposed Jing Yun's inner thoughts. I think you should figure out where you come from. It's your choice whether you want to recognize your family. Mu Qiqi believed that no one would want to live their entire life muddle-headed. Even Jing Yun would want to know who his parents were and why they left him alone in the first place. Jing Yun looked at the photo. He had a plan in his mind. Do you remember why I insisted that Chia return to the Shen family? Although it would not help Grandpa Shen to acknowledge Mu Qiqi's identity, he could not stop them from getting engaged because Mu Qiqi was a member of the Shen family. Jing Yun understood what Xing Xiao meant. Having a family and not was like heaven and hell. I'll handle it. Xing Xiao did not say anything else. He hugged Mu Qiqi and said to Jing Yun, then why aren't you leaving? Is there no one waiting for you at home? Xiao Xiao. Mu Qiqi couldn't help but hit Xing Xiao's chest. How could he chase away a guest like that? Jing Yun received the order and left Jingting. On his way home he thought about many things. When he reached home, Xing Minglan had already prepared dinner. Jing Yun saw her busy figure and quickly hugged her from behind. What's going on today? Did 8th brother bully you? Didn't I tell you? You're his brother-in-law now. No, I'm just too hungry. Then hurry up and eat. Xing Minglan picked up the utensils and was about to leave when Jing Yun took them from her and put them down, before lifting her up and placing her on the counter. Jing Yun. Xing Minglan was startled. I'm sorry. I'm too hungry. Jing Yun apologized softly before kissing her lips. His hunger wasn't his stomach's. Xing Minglan was stunned. How difficult was it for a blockhead like Jing Yun to play tricks? Soon they forgot that there was food on the table outside, and the kitchen became their new pleasure ground. As it turned out, Jing Yun was not as calm as he usually was when he did such things. But in the middle of the night, Jing Yun suddenly woke up from a nightmare. He let go of the woman in his arms and looked at the time. It was only 3 a.m, but for some reason he had not had such a dream for a long time. In the dream he was abandoned by a tall man in a world of ice and snow. He could not see the man's back clearly, but he remembered what he said. This place is very far from home. You will never find your way home. Jing Yun suddenly couldn't tell if it was a dream or reality. He looked down at Xing Minglan beside him. She was fast asleep. Jing Yun did not wake her up and instead quietly got up. His birth was like Pandora's box. Once opened, it might not necessarily be a scene of separated relatives hugging and crying. 2 days later, at the Lin residence. At first, Grandpa Lin wanted to cut off his grandson's source of income and teach the rascal a lesson. But until now he hadn't even heard from Lin Mu-en. Was this child really angry? Was he hiding? Grandpa Lin spent some effort to find Lin Mu-an, but Lin Mu-an's former manager told him, "Your grandson no longer wants to listen to your arrangements. He insists on being independent, so I hope you won't come looking for him in the future. Look, the company is planning to take all his promotions and works off the shelves." Grandpa Lin immediately felt that something was wrong. He even sent someone to follow Lu Qianqian, but found that Lin Mu-an was not with her. He asked around many times and finally found out where Lin Mu-an was. He actually went to the police academy to apply to resume his studies behind the Lin family's back. When Grandpa Lin learned about it, he clutched his chest and stumbled a few steps back. That bastard. Doesn't he know that I'm against him going to the police academy? He's only willing to go against me. Grandpa Lin rushed to the academy and asked to see Lin Mu-an. But Lin Mu-an was already wearing his uniform and looked like a proper officer. He knew that Grandpa Lin would come, which was within his expectations. "Come home with me. As long as you come home with me, I won't regret making friends with you. You can play with whoever you want and do whatever you want as long as you leave the police academy." Lin Mu-an was unmoved and rejected the old man's request. "No, Grandpa. I'm not going back to the police academy to fight you. It's because I like being a police officer." "That's a hail of bullets," Grandpa Lin said hurriedly. "That's my choice too. In the end, you're still taking revenge on me." Grandpa Lin was upset. "No, I won't allow you to continue studying in the police academy. You're a descendant of the Lin family. You don't have to risk your life." "Grandpa, I must go to the police academy." "You can't stop me this time," Lin Mu-an said firmly. "I'll go to the principal and your director. If you think this will work, then go." Lin Mu-an was unmoved. Even if Grandpa Lin used all his power, he would never drop out of the academy because he didn't break any rules. It was obvious that Grandpa Lin was at a loss. Why did his obedient grandson suddenly become so disobedient? Grandpa Lin was so angry that he fainted in the study after returning home. This time the Lin family called Lin Mu-an again. But Lin Mu-an said to them, "Take good care of Grandpa. Pretend that you never gave birth to an unfilial descendant like me." He really didn't compromise because he wanted to become a useful person. Chapter 336. As expected, Lu Qianqian kept her word. No matter how busy she was, she would make time to visit Lin Mu-an at the police academy with a drumstick. Because the police academy was different from ordinary universities, the winter and summer holidays were very short, and the students also had to train on the weekends. Sometimes they could go out for a short while in the afternoon, but they were definitely not allowed to stay overnight. So this was a small chance for Lin Mu-an to see Lu Qianqian. Lu Qianqian suddenly laughed when she saw Lin Mu-an in his police uniform. "No, what's wrong?" Lin Mu-an looked at himself curiously. "I'm just not used to seeing you so serious all of a sudden." Lu Qianqian covered her mouth and laughed. "But to be honest, it's much cooler than you in a suit." Of course. Lin Mu-an still had that little bit of pride. "It's a pity that I came back at the wrong time. The police academy is about to start its holidays. I brought you a drumstick. The training must have been tough." It was more than just bitter. Lin Mu-an pulled up his sleeves, revealing the bruises on his arms. "Although it's tough, I'm happy. Thank you for the drumstick. I'm going to eat. The food in the canteen isn't that good." As Lu Qianqian watched Lin Mu-an eat the drumstick, she took out a small box and handed it to him. "What is this?" "Protective talisman," Lu Qianqian explained. "It's said that being a police officer is a life of bullets. So I wish you a long life." Lin Mu-an smiled and accepted the small box. "Female, so you have to study hard too. Don't fall behind me. I'm smart and quick-witted, how can I lose to you? You are a scumbag." Both of them bickered as usual. But for Lin Mu-an, Lu Qianqian's visit made the physical pain he suffered in the police academy vanish without a trace. When he returned to the police academy, he lay on his bed and opened the gift Lu Qianqian had given him. Seeing that it was really a safety charm, he carefully hung it around his neck. "I will definitely grow up to be a friend that can protect you." On the other hand, Lu Qianqian could study harder because of Lin Mu-an's encouragement. Everyone was improving and she couldn't always lick her own wounds. Over the last few days, Mu-Chi-Chi had gone out to fields several times with her instructor, and returned home every day with different scents. Because it went deep into the hair, there was no way to prevent the smell. No matter how you washed, there would still be some residual smell. Old Xing had called to inform the entire Xing family to come home for dinner. In fact, he wanted to discuss a way to bring Xing Minglan home. However, it was inconvenient for Mu Qiqi to attend because the smell on her was unbearable. Xiao Xiao, the old man can't wait for me not to go to the Xing family's dinner anyway. Let's just forget about it this time, lest he uses the smell on me to make a fuss again. Xing Xiao hugged Mu Qiqi and hooked her chin. There's no smell. Why not? You're helping me because you're a fan. But the Xing family won't be polite to me. Xing Xiao did not say anything. He just let go of Mu Qiqi and went to the study to make a call. Since Ji Er was not going, there was no need for him to go back. Moreover, he even informed Jing Yun, "Find the best perfumer in France. I want to meet him in a few days." He did not want the little one to hate him because of those things. Meanwhile, the Xing family was already seated around the dining table, although Xing Xiao and Mu Qiqi's seats were empty. The old man glanced at them and asked Mama Xing, "What's going on?" "Eighth brother just called. He's going on a business trip, so he won't be coming tonight. Does he think nothing of me now that he's the CEO of Huang Yao? Even if he's not coming, where's Mu Qiqi?" Wasn't the old man asking a question he already knew the answer to? Wasn't it obvious that Mu Qiqi was coming to be humiliated when eighth brother was not coming? "Father, just tell me what you want." Mama Xing quickly changed the topic. "Seventh sister has been missing for some time and we couldn't find her. That's why fourth sister is the only girl left in our generation, but she's still out there and wouldn't come home. It was because seventh sister was here before. Now that she's gone, you should think of a way to bring her back. No daughter of the Xing family would want to live in the cage that was the Xing family. Fourth sister had already tasted freedom outside. Why would she come back? Father, you had promised fourth sister that you wouldn't interfere with her life. It's not good for you to go back on your word." He remembered how he had been fickle in front of Xing Xiao before, and how he had lost his position as CEO of Huang Yao and 10% of the company's shares. If he were to provoke fourth brother now, he would probably lose even more. She's a daughter of the Xing family in the end. I won't interfere with her marriage as long as she comes home. The old man's words were pleasant, but could he not object when he found out that Jing Yun and Xing Minglan were together? Naturally, no one in the Xing family knew about it. "Xiaoqin, I'll leave this to you. I want our family to be together." Mama Xing was helpless but nodded in the end. "I'll do my best." Of course, it would be better for Mama Xing to know than the old man, right? Mama Xing went to Xing Minglan's company early next morning so that she wouldn't waste her time and could see her before she went to work. But when she saw Xing Minglan's car parked in the garage and was about to get out, she saw Jing Yun getting out of the driver's seat first, before going around the car to drive for Xing Minglan. They were holding hands and their posture was very intimate. Mama Xing did a double take, suspecting that her eyes were playing tricks on her. That was why she quickly got out of the car and followed Jing Yun, only to find that they were kissing at the entrance of the company. Mama Xing promptly covered her mouth and quickly returned to her car. What was going on? Why was Jing Yun with fourth sister? With that question in mind, Mama Xing called Xing Xiao. However, Xing Xiao was in the bathroom and Mu Qiqi was the one who answered. "What's the matter, mother?" Xiao Xiao is washing up. "Qiqi, tell me, do you know fourth sister's secret?" Mama Xing asked straightforwardly. Mu Qiqi did a double take, her whole body stiffening. "Mother, indeed you know about it too. This morning, I saw the two of them being very intimate in front of fourth sister's office. These two kids are way too brave. Don't they know what the consequences will be if the old man finds out?" "Mother, don't tell Grandpa, all right? Fourth sister is finally a little happy, but I would keep it a secret for the rest of my life if I could. But this is about marriage and children. Wouldn't your grandfather know?" Mama Xing was really anxious. "I saw the two of them come to the company together this morning. How far have they progressed?" "Stop." Mama Xing understood what Mu Qiqi meant. Chapter 337. Why aren't you doing anything? Mama Xing was beside herself. Even the rest of the Xing family wouldn't accept Jing Yun as the Xing family's son-in-law, let alone the old man. Just because Jing Yun has nothing? Xing Xiao, that won't work. You and Mu Qiqi could get engaged because she's the Xing family's granddaughter, but Jing Yun... Mom, do you not like Jing Yun too? Xing Xiao asked in return. Of course I like that child since he's been by your side for so many years. But your grandfather... You don't have to worry about anything if you like him. Xing Xiao promptly cut her short. Fourth sister had opened Jing Yun's heart after much difficulty, or that blockhead would have ended up with fourth sister long ago. Mama Xing could only sigh at that. How much more do you children have to make me worry before it's enough? That was precisely why Mu Qiqi and Xing Xiao believed that their mother would not tell the old man about it. How worrisome. If that's the case, tell Jing Yun to restrain himself and fourth sister. The old man might visit her company from time to time. If Jing Yun knew that Mama Xing had found out about their relationship, his heart that had just been opened would instantly close again. Mu Qiqi couldn't help sighing when Xing Xiao put down his phone. It's lucky that Mom found out first. The consequences would be unthinkable if it was Grandpa. Call fourth sister later and tell her about it in a roundabout way, so that she'll be careful of Jing Yun's emotions. Mu Qiqi nodded. Got it, Xiao Xiao. Still, this matter has to be resolved. Check his identity first. He had prepared for the worst since he did not expect that Jing Yun might be related to the Su family. Still, since this matter could minimize the damage, he certainly had to do both at the same time. Of course, he would only consider that if Jing Yun was really a member of the Su family and they really had the intention of finding their child. In the afternoon, Jing Yun received the background information on the Su family and handed it to Xing Xiao. Xing Xiao glanced at it and smiled in return. You haven't opened it yourself? No. Jing Yun calmly shook his head. Xing Xiao opened the envelope and took out the results of the investigation, and found that the Su family was not a bunch of mediocre people. The person in charge of the Su family was one of the top medical equipment suppliers in the country. He had been engaged in the development of medical equipment for many years and had made many contributions to the medical field. The Su couple had 2 sons and 1 daughter. Su Yihong was the eldest, Su Wei the second, and the youngest, Su Yifeng, who had been missing for many years. Xing Xiao flipped through the documents and looked at the photo of third brother left on the Su family tree. That was clearly how Jing Yun looked when he was young. Was there even a need to check? The Su family had only recently moved to Jianchuan to develop. Before this, they had been far away in the coastal cities. If the Su family had always been thousands of miles away, why would Jing Yun end up in Jianchuan? When he was done, he put all the documents on the table and asked, "What do you think? I can tell you with certainty that you are a member of the Su family." I don't know. Jing Yun paused for a moment, feeling very lost. I believe that the Su couple must be looking for you. After all, they had searched the city they used to live in for years, but to no avail. I was abandoned. Jing Yun told Xing Xiao about his dream. Recently, I've been having this dream a lot. In the dream, I'm being brought thousands of miles away by a man and then abandoned. It's because that's the only way I can't go home. That's not hard to explain. Why the Su family couldn't find their own child despite having such a large family business. Perhaps someone deliberately gave them the wrong direction. If that's the case, we must first find out who that person is. With that, Xing Xiao turned his office chair and studied Jing Yun from head to toe. I really didn't expect you to have such a background. Young master. Of course, acknowledging the Su family is another matter. We must first find the one who abandoned you and torture him. It was Jing Yun's choice to return to the Su family and no one could interfere. Even so, it was time for the person who had tortured Jing Yun for years to pay the price. Xing Xiao did not tell Mama Xing about the Su family, because they didn't know what had happened to them. That was why Mama Xing was worried. When she returned to the Xing family at night, she was inevitably questioned by the old man. What happened when you went to see fourth sister today? I didn't get to see her today, but I've told her secretary that I wanted to meet her. Mama Xing could still imagine the 2 young people's intimacy. Hurry. I know. Mama Xing replied. Fourth sister never cared about the Xing family in the past, let alone now that she was living with Jing Yun. There was really no telling what clever move Xing Xiao could come up with. Xing Xiao wanted to investigate Jing Yun's abandonment all those years ago, but he didn't know how many other people were involved. Doing his best not to alarm the Su family, Xing Xiao learned the reason behind the disappearance of the 3rd son of the Su family. That year, Su Holdings had just experienced internal strife, with Papa Su and Jing Yun's eldest uncle fighting for control of Su Holdings. At the time, the eldest uncle of the Su family even made a move on the children of the Su family to threaten Papa Su. To protect the children, Papa Su had his wife take the 3 children into hiding. Su Yihong had fled to the Su family's mansion on the island, leaving the three to return to the mansion the next day. But when Mama Sue took a plane the next day, she found that her son who had been following her was gone. And the Sue couple had searched for him for 10 years. Even so, there was no news of their youngest son. Come to think of it, the one who lost Jing Yun was his mother. Mu Qiqi leaned on Xing Xiao and finished reading the information. But that clearly doesn't make sense. Jing Yun said that someone had deliberately left him 1,000 miles away. Think about it. There are only a few possibilities at the time. First, the eldest uncle of the Sue family abducted Papa Sue's son so that he would lose his beloved son. Second, it has nothing to do with the eldest uncle of the Sue family. But who could it be? Who would benefit from losing Jing Yun? Xing Xiao hugged her at Mu Qiqi's analysis and smiled meaningfully. Whose cheese did Jing Yun touch? Wouldn't the truth be revealed when he returns? Chapter 338. He's afraid that the Sue family is just like the Xing family, scheming against each other, and afraid that he can't protect fourth sister. It's only natural that Jing Yun would be afraid. If Mu Qiqi didn't love Xing Xiao so much that she couldn't live without him, why would she go to such a dangerous place like the Xing family? Still, I have the feeling that giving in won't reap good results. If Jing Yun was really killed by someone, I would definitely find the culprit if I were him. Xing Xiao looked down at Xiaoqi and couldn't help chuckling. It's good that you know how to take revenge. Mu Qiqi couldn't help pushing him away when she saw him approaching. Don't get so close to me. I stink. Xing Xiao did not move away from her. Instead, he hugged her tightly in his arms. I don't despise you and you despise me? The French perfumer will come tomorrow, and I'll have her make a perfume specifically for your skin. Will it really work? Mu Qiqi asked. Definitely will. Mu Qiqi couldn't help reaching out to unbutton Xing Xiao's shirt at his words. You're the person who treats me the best in this world. So, Mister, do you want to marry me? Mu Qiqi asked flirtatiously. Xing Xiao said nothing else and simply grabbed Mu Qiqi's hand, flipping her over and pressing her beneath him. Since she was offering herself to him, he wouldn't hold back. Late at night in Xing Minglan's apartment, Jing Yun knew everything about himself, but he didn't tell Xing Minglan a single word. It wasn't because he hadn't thought of how to handle it yet. He must find the culprit, but he wouldn't know who it was without contact with the Sue family. Jing Yun, you've been distracted all night. What's wrong? Jing Yun shook his head and continued watching TV with Xing Minglan in his arms. What would you do if I'm not me? What do you mean? Jing Yun didn't answer. Instead, he lifted Xing Minglan's chin and kissed her. It was a long time before he released her. Xing Minglan's face was flushed now. We don't seem to have any restraint these days. I won't disturb you if you want to rest tonight. Jing Yun said. That's not what I mean. Minglan, are you really willing to be with me for the rest of your life regardless of who I am? Even if I have nothing? Xing Minglan was sure that Jing Yun was behaving strangely. She turned to look at him. Aren't I doing that now? I love you as a person and the feelings you've shown me for so many years. They're not worldly possessions. I want to marry you. Having said that, Jing Yun picked Xing Minglan up from the sofa. How could a man not be affectionate when he had his lover in his arms? Blushing, Xing Minglan could only hug his neck tightly and enjoy his most tender kisses and caresses. It was also on this night that Jing Yun made a very important decision. On the other hand, Mama Xing had not made any progress with Xing Minglan, which annoyed the old man. He wanted Xing Minglan to come home, but he did not know how to appear before his granddaughter. All along he had asked someone to look for Xing Minglan's address, though he did not know how he could appear in front of his granddaughter. That was why he went to Xing Minglan's new company after running out of ideas. Of course he did not go there himself. So, having exhausted all his options, he went to Xing Minglan's new company to see if there was any news about seventh sister. But when he arrived at Xing Minglan's new company and revealed his identity, he was stopped by the secretary. I'm sorry, Chief Xing is not in the office right now. In fact, Xing Minglan was having lunch with Jing Yun near the office. Even during lunch break, Jing Yun did not let go of the chance to meet Xing Minglan. Helpless when he did not see her, sixth brother turned to leave Xing Minglan's office. But just as he stepped out of the door, he saw Jing Yun and Xing Minglan entering the office one after another. And when no one was paying attention, Xing Minglan tiptoed and kissed Jing Yun's cheek. Sixth brother was left dumbfounded. Not knowing what was going on, he quickly hid in a corner. It was only after Jing Yun left that he returned to Xing Minglan's office. Xing Minglan had already learned about sixth brother's visit from her secretary. But when she turned around and saw this person, her heart skipped a beat. Could he have seen everything just now? What are you doing here instead of working at Huang Yao? Fourth sister, I want to know if you've seen seventh sister. Or did she contact you on her own? No. Xing Minglan shook her head. You should know how much seventh sister hates me. Why would she come looking for me? If that's the case, you should go back to your work, fourth sister. Xing Minglan had wanted to ask sixth brother if he had seen anything he shouldn't have. But since sixth brother did not mention it, she would be exposing herself if she poked at him. In fact, sixth brother was not harboring any ill intentions. He simply believed that Jing Yun was not good enough for his fourth sister. That was why he went straight to Huang Yao after he left Xing Minglan's office, dragged Jing Yun to the balcony and interrogated him. What is your relationship with fourth sister? Jing Yun stared at sixth brother in shock, but soon regained his composure. Tell me, you toad. Are you still hoping to eat a swan? Let me tell you, I won't tell Grandpa about this for the time being, but you have to leave my fourth sister immediately. You have to know that being with her is harming her. If Grandpa finds out, he'll definitely beat her to death. I hope that sixth young master would keep his word and not tell the chairman about this. I won't say anything if you leave, fourth sister. Otherwise, I'll have to let Grandpa handle this. I'll handle my own business. You know very well who you are, Jing Yun. You've been with eighth brother for so many years, but you're still an outsider and an orphan at that. You're just a servant and a dog of the Xing family. Jing Yun's gaze sharpened at the last word. Still, sixth brother did not think that he was wrong. Either way, you have to leave, fourth sister, now. I'll give you 1 day or I'll tell Grandpa tomorrow. Jing Yun said nothing as he watched sixth brother leave. Still, he should be more careful and not have too much intimate contact with Xing Minglan when they were outside. Now that sixth brother knew, and saw it by accident, there would be a huge uproar if he told the chairman, and the entire Xing family would be in a mess. Chapter 339. Jing Yun kept his cool and told Xing Shao about it. Xing Shao glared at him when he heard it. Don't you know how to restrain yourselves? My mom saw it too. Jing Yun's entire body stiffened at that. How could a first-time lover know how intimate they appeared in front of outsiders? After all, both he and Xing Minglan only had eyes for each other at the time. It's easy with my mom since she's on our side. But as for sixth brother, you know that he has a grudge against us because of what happened to seventh brother. Still, it's not difficult to pacify him for now. Still, you have to make plans for that. I'm going to meet the Su family, Jing Yun answered. Because he wanted to uncover the truth, he did not want to be left in the dark. More importantly, he wanted to return to his rightful place. At least he was not a dog of the Xing family in sixth brother's eyes. Xing Shao was naturally unaware that sixth brother had said that to Jing Yun. He would not be sitting still if he did. Whatever the case may be, sixth brother was a ticking time bomb. Make the necessary arrangements since you're going to meet the Su family. Are you going to meet Su Yihong directly or the Su couple? Jing Yun stared at Xing Shao but did not answer, because he was more inclined to meet the Su couple directly. Meanwhile, sixth brother paced around his room in irritation after he returned to the Xing family's residence. After all, he was now carrying a shocking secret. He really wanted to tell the old man and have him punish Jing Yun. How dare a toad lusting after a swan's flesh? He wanted the old man to beat Jing Yun up so that he would know his place. Still, if he brought the matter to light, the old man would definitely punish Xing Minglan as well. Although he was aware that seventh brother and fourth sister had a grudge, Mu Qiqi was the main culprit in the matter, which was why he did not blame fourth sister. Meanwhile, Mama Sheng's task was to keep an eye on sixth brother. She had received Xing Zhao's call and her worries were starting to come true. It was just that no one could connect the two of them now. Come to think of it, there were only a few places Xing Shao and Mu Qiqi could go on a date, because Xing Shao knew very well how vast Huang Yao's sphere of influence was. Now he could only stall for as long as he could. That night, Jing Yun went home to pack his things, pretending that he was going on a business trip. Xing Minglan could not help being puzzled at that. I didn't hear eighth brother was going anywhere. Are you going alone? Jing Yun stopped what he was doing and straightened to Xing Minglan. I'm going to find my identity. Xing Minglan was puzzled. Be more specific. Actually, I've already found my parents and found out my true identity. However, I haven't met them yet. There are a lot of mysteries in my heart that I want to solve. So, I plan to make a trip there. Xing Minglan suddenly understood why Jing Yun had been acting strangely lately. Why did you only tell me now? Xing said, Yun said, I say. I'll go with you. That way I'll be the first to know if anything happens to you. Otherwise I'll just be on tenterhooks. But sixth young master saw us today, and I'm afraid he wouldn't be able to stop himself from telling the chairman. That's why I'm entrusting you to him. You can stay in Jingting for a while so I won't have to worry. Jingyun, I said I'll go with you. Xing Minglan was insistent. I want to know why your family would abandon you. Jingyun was helpless but compromised. By the time we get back to Jianchuan the news would have spread. It would come sooner or later, wouldn't it? Xing Minglan was not afraid at all. In fact, she was a little delighted. After all, she had long wanted to tell the world about Jing Yun's identity. She loved him and wanted to be with him, and no one could separate them. Sleep for a while. Since Su Holdings had not fully moved here, the Su couple often stayed in other cities. Xing Minglan nodded and held Jing Yun's hand tightly. No matter what happens, I will face it with you. I'm weak, but I'm not afraid of anything as long as I'm with you. Jing Yun called Xing Xiao and asked him to keep sixth brother in check for now, or at least not let it happen when he was not in Jianchuan. Deep down he was retreating. He did not want to bring Xing Minglan any pain. But now this woman was holding his hand so firmly and staying by his side. If he retreated, he would not be a man anymore. After all, the two of them were already husband and wife. Regardless of what the future held, he would first work hard to resist the mountain that was old Xing. He would sacrifice everything for Xing Minglan, even his own life. Holding hands, the two of them sat in the airport lobby. This time he was really going to find the answers to his parentage. Jing Yun is getting braver. Mu Qiqi was relieved when she learned that they were leaving together. Although there's no telling when sixth brother, that ticking time bomb, would explode. Do you think Jing Yun is still afraid? He was not afraid. He would stand in front of Xing Minglan even if thousands of arrows pierced his heart. I hope Jing Yun's trip ends well. Even then, Mu Qiqi was not aware of what old Xing was up to in secret. She was worried about Jing Yun and Xing Minglan, but did not know that her own situation was the one that worried her the most. After all, old Xing had gotten in touch with the Gu family as he wished, and had a preliminary conversation with them. As for whether his plan could come to fruition in March, it all depended on whether Miss Gu was willing to cooperate. On the other hand, sixth brother could not sit still for the entire day. Mama Xing had seen him walking past the old man's study many times, and it was easy to imagine how much the brat wanted to tell the old man about it. His sister was already guilty of the most heinous crime. Was he going to be the same as her? Sixth brother believed that he was keeping his word. After all, he had given Jing Yun one day to break up with Xing Minglan, and he could not break his promise before the day was up. Unexpectedly, when he called Jing Yun the next morning, he found that his phone was not in the service area, just like Xing Minglan. Could they have eloped because they knew that disaster was coming? Chapter 340. Sixth brother immediately wanted to go to the old man, but ran into Xing Xiao on his way to the old man's study. Xing Xiao was wearing a black handmade suit, his figure appearing tall and slender as he stood in the corridor of the Xing residence. Sixth brother, where are you going? Sixth brother glared at Xing Xiao and pointed at his nose, scolding him. You found yourself a good-for-nothing Mu Qiqi. Why would you ruin fourth sister's life? I don't understand. What happened to fourth sister? Stop playing dumb. By the way, the project manager in Africa has resigned. Why don't you go over and replace him? Xing Xiao smiled. I was just about to talk to the old man about this. Why don't we go together? Tell me, where did Jing Yun go? Why isn't your phone in the service area? I asked him to go on a business trip. What about it? Xing Xiao's expression was calm throughout. I told this toad to break up with fourth sister. In the end, he eloped with fourth sister. I'm going to tell grandfather about this. All right, you can go and tell old master. No one can stop you, but you have to think about what happened to seventh sister because she framed her. Xing Xiao stared coldly at sixth brother. You can tell the old man about this and he could ask Jing Yun to leave and disappear from this world. But you should know how much fourth sister would hate you in the end. In the end, this is fourth sister's business. What does it have to do with you? Sixth brother looked at Xing Xiao, especially at his eyes. They were long, narrow and deep, and there was no telling what he was plotting. It was unfathomable. Jing Yun is your assistant. He's just a dog of the Xing family. At least he has done something for the Xing family. What have you done for the Xing family? Xing Xiao asked sixth brother in return. Every penny you spend now is thanks to Jing Yun. What right do you have to be so shameless and call him a dog? Is that so? So does he want something of a higher class, a loyal dog? Pack your things and go to Africa immediately. Otherwise I'll freeze your account. Xing Xiao did not want to be entangled with sixth brother. After all, they were like fire and water because of what happened to seventh sister. Who are you to decide whether I stay or leave? Because I am the president of Huang Yao. With that, Xing Xiao turned around and left. Speaking of which, didn't you also contribute to this? Also, you call Jing Yun a dog, but in my heart you're worse than a dog. I'll give you 2 hours to check in or you'll have to bear the consequences. Sixth brother was reluctant. Xing Xiao was clearly doing that to stop the old man from learning about Jing Yun and fourth sister. A loyal dog wanted to marry the young lady of the Xing family? Most importantly, Jing Yun was Xing Xiao's assistant, or sixth brother wouldn't bear such a grudge. Xing Xiao did not go to Grandpa Xing's study. Instead, he went to his mother's room. When Mama Xing learned about it, she shook her head. This won't stop sixth brother. I don't want to stop him, Xing Xiao replied. Let him cause trouble and anger the old man. It's just right. But what about Jing Yun and fourth sister? Did he really run out and hide? Eloped? Mom, Jing Yun went on a business trip. Fourth sister just followed him. But if the old man asks, how should I answer? Mama Xing was very worried. Just say that Jing Yun went on a business trip with fourth sister and nothing else. We'll talk about it when they come back. Even if sixth brother goes to the old man to make a fuss, the old man would have to believe him. You just have to pretend you don't know anything. But they would have to face. Xing Xiao gestured for her to calm down. Meanwhile, Jing Yun and Xing Minglan had successfully checked into the hotel. To smoothly meet Su matriarch, Xing Minglan used her company's name to meet the Su couple. The Su couple were surprised when they received the invitation, since Xing Minglan's department store and the medical industry had no potential for collaboration. Why would she meet the old couple? Still, the couple agreed to meet at 6 in the evening. Xing Minglan looked down at Jing Yun when she read the reply. Nervous? Jing Yun shook his head. To convince them, I brought a picture of you when we were young. Jing Yun reached out to hug Xing Minglan. Although he didn't say it, Xing Minglan could feel that he was nervous and his body was trembling. You'll see them tonight. Meanwhile, at the Xing residence, sixth brother was packing his things early in the morning, which caught the old man's attention. Where are you going? Africa. Sixth brother replied irritably. Can't help it. The CEO of Huang Yao has a lot of influence. What can I do when he wants me to be in charge of a project in Africa? Since eighth brother sent you, just treat it as training. The old man glared at him. Aren't you curious, grandfather? Why would eighth brother send me to Africa? Do you think I don't know about your grudge? You hate eighth brother and Mu Chichi because of seventh sister. Sixth brother couldn't help laughing at that. Our Xing family is really inviting a wolf into our house. Grandpa, why don't you ask your eighth brother where his assistant went and where fourth sister went? Hearing this, Grandpa Xing couldn't help but frown. What do you mean? What I mean is, you might have a poor grandson-in-law. You mean, that's impossible. The old man didn't believe it. It had been so many years and it would have happened long ago if Jing Yun and fourth sister really had something going on. They wouldn't have waited until now. I saw it with my own eyes. They kissed and even went on a business trip together. Aren't you worried at all, grandfather? Hearing this, the old man's body stiffened. It's best if you investigate this in private. They might have been living together a long time ago. Ask eighth brother. He can think of 1,000 ways to brush you off. The old man took a deep breath and waved at sixth brother. Hurry up and leave. Don't be an eyesore. Sixth brother snorted coldly. He wouldn't believe that eighth brother would have the ability to marry Jing Yun into the Xing family. But did Jing Yun need to marry into the Xing family? The old man was upset when he heard the news, and promptly sent someone to Xing Minglan's company to investigate. He found out that Xing Minglan and Jing Yun were really close, having meals together and getting off work together almost every day. What else could it be if not a couple? In fact, Xing Xiao didn't stop the old man from investigating. Otherwise, he wouldn't have found anything if Xing Minglan's company explained everything. What could he do even if he knew now? The old man became more furious the more he thought about it. Unable to contact Jing Yun and Xing Minglan, he called Xing Zhao's phone. Get your ass back here. Chapter 341. What do you mean, old man? Xing Xiao asked in return. So angry in the middle of the day. Where's Jing Yun? On a business trip. What about fourth sister? How would I know where she is? Maybe she's on a business trip too. Xing Xiao answered cynically. Did you call me back just to ask about their whereabouts? Don't tell me you don't know about their relationship. I've already gone to fourth sister's company and found out that they're together. The old man stomped his walking stick. Xing Xiao, she's your sister. How could you let her be with your assistant? Don't you know how different their statuses are? Why are you getting mad at me? Do you have proof from the company? Jing Yun has a good relationship with fourth sister because she saved him, and they've been living with innocence all these years. If they had feelings for each other, they would have done it a long time ago. Why wait until now? I don't want to tell you anything now. I just want to know where fourth sister is. When she comes back, I won't let her leave the Xing family, let alone be with those shady people. Xing Xiao and Mu Qiqi looked at each other but neither said a word. What could he do to them now that Jing Yun and Xing Minglan were not in Jianchuan? I'm asking you, Xing Xiao. Where's fourth sister? The old man suddenly yelled at Xing Xiao. A daughter of the Xing family would never be the wife of an assistant. I won't let her slit her wrists. And that assistant of yours. He's such a cruel and ungrateful thing. Xing Xiao could not be bothered to listen to him and left with Mu Qiqi. And the old man hated Xing Zhao's unruly behavior the most. He had been like that since he was young. He did not care if Xing Xiao would be obedient. As long as Miss Gu came to the Xing family, Xing Xiao could marry her and have a son and a daughter, and he would have completed the mission given to him by his ancestors. I'll let you be arrogant now, but when the time comes, let's see if you can still laugh. On the way back, Mu Qiqi couldn't help worrying. What should we do, Xiao Xiao? Judging from the old man's attitude, he would never allow those two to be together. Jing Yun will win. Xing Xiao caressed Mu Qiqi's hair to reassure her. Mu Qiqi trusted Xing Xiao and nodded in relief. Still, I can't help feeling a little nervous when I see Grandpa in a fit of rage. I wonder how things are on Jing Yun's side. If he wasn't a member of the Su family, would you have exposed their relationship? It's only a matter of time before he's exposed. It has nothing to do with Jing Yun being a member of the Su family. It's just that he has more leverage since he's a member of the Su family. If he's not a member of the Su family, how are we supposed to help them? Xing Xiao looked down at Mu Qiqi and could not help chuckling. Helping them escape. Ah, idiot. Xing Xiao cursed softly. There was no need to fight Grandpa Xing head-on. They could find a place where no one knew them, get married and have children. When the Xing family was reshuffled, would Grandpa Xing be able to stop them? Of course, this was the last resort. It was 6 o'clock in the evening. The Su couple had arrived at the hotel as promised and met Xing Minglan. Both husband and wife looked very cultured, noble and elegant. After all, they were also successful people. Still, they appeared puzzled when they saw Xing Minglan. Miss Xing, Su Holdings and Huang Yao don't have much of a partnership to work with. I wonder if you... Xing Minglan said nothing and simply took out the photo of her and Jing Yun from her handbag and put it in front of them. Madame Su was skinny but very spirited, wearing a cheongsam and exuding the aura of a noble family. On the other hand, Papa Su looked like a scholar, wearing glasses and a suit, and appeared to be very particular. Both of them were stunned when they took the photo. That's our third brother? When I was young, I found a boy who was about to freeze to death in a world of ice and snow. That's why I brought him home and made him my brother's playmate. Both husband and wife looked at the photo with Madame Su crying out loud. My third brother. Husband, that's our son. But Miss Xing, to tell you the truth, we found our son 2 years ago and we did a DNA test. He's definitely our son. Papa Su said. Uncle, Auntie, you wouldn't mistake your son's appearance when he was young, would you? I think you two might have been fooled. Xing Minglan said. Well, where is this child now? Madame Su asked. He's outside Jing Yun. Xing Minglan called out to the door of the private room. Jing Yun pushed the door open and entered. When the old couple saw Jing Yun, especially Madame Su, it was as if they were looking at their husband in his youth, and there was not much difference between them. Hence her eyes reddened at once. "Child. My child." Mama Su promptly rose to her feet and walked to Jing Yun, grabbing his arm and studying him from head to toe. She was even more certain when she saw the red birthmark beneath his earlobe. "Old Su, that's our son. There's no mistaking it." "But the one at home, that's easy, uncle. You just need to do another DNA test in secret. You would definitely get the answer," Xing Minglan suggested. Papa Su nodded. In truth, he was more willing to believe that Jing Yun was his son, because he looked so much like him when he was young. "Why did you only come to us now, my child?" Jing Yun was unsure how to face his parents at once and simply answered them, "I was abandoned on the streets of Jianchuan when I was young. I fell sick in the cold and snow. Minglan found me later and brought me back to the Xing family. I don't remember much about my childhood after that. I lost you at the airport. How did you end up in Jianchuan?" Jing Yun shook his head. "I only remember that the person who abandoned me told me that I wouldn't be able to find my way home if I was 1,000 miles away. Who could be so cruel as to leave my son in the cold?" Madame Su cried out. "My child, this is my child. My poor child." Papa Su couldn't help tearing up as well. "You don't know this, but your mother had searched every corner of the city just to find you. She had even asked around, but she didn't know that you were abandoned so far away. It's good that you're back. It's good that you're home." Jing Yun looked at his parents, especially his kind parents, and could not help but be moved. "I'm sorry." Chapter 342. Don't be sad now that we're reunited, Uncle Auntie. There would be many chances for us to share our feelings in the future. But the most important thing now is to find out what's going on with the impersonator. At Xing Minglan's reminder, Mama Su dried her tears and looked at her husband. Yihong was the one who found him. Su Yihong was Jing Yun's eldest brother, and the Professor Mu Qiqi saw giving a speech at Xingting University. "We'll have to ask Yihong when we get home. Auntie, I think you should quietly do the DNA test first. With the evidence in your hands, no matter who is lying to whom, at least you will know in your heart," Xing Minglan suggested. Papa Su found it reasonable at that. "That's right. Whatever the reason, impersonating my son is a lie. Are we going to keep it a secret too?" "That would be best. It's a secret." Xing Minglan was a little more cautious, since Mama Su mentioned that Su Yihong was the one who found the impersonator. "Where are you staying then? I want to see my son a few more times." "You're not in a hurry to leave, are you?" Mama Su quickly asked. "We'll stay here until we get to the bottom of this." Xing Minglan dispelled Mama Su's concerns. "Jing Yun wants to know who the culprit was who left him at Jianchuan. How dare they treat my son like this? I'll get justice for him." Papa Su was holding Jing Yun's hand tightly as well, apologizing profusely. "It's all my fault. I lost you when we were fighting for the management rights, and I've blamed myself every day for all these years. I miss you every day." Jing Yun stared at his parents and eventually couldn't help holding them in his arms. "I thought I was an orphan." "Nonsense. You're not an orphan, you're the third young master of the Su family. I'll make it up to you. I'll give you the best in the world." Jing Yun's mood was very complicated. He never imagined that someone would impersonate him and deceive his parents. The Su couple stayed at the hotel until late at night, and would not have left if Xing Minglan hadn't reminded them. "Don't show it before you get the DNA report. You wouldn't know how cunning the culprit is." Mama Su kept Xing Minglan's words in mind. On the way back, she had a discussion with her husband. "I don't need a test to know that Jing Yun is our child. He looks so much like you in the past. Not only that, Miss Minglan also has a photo as proof. But when I think of our son wandering outside and suffering so much, my heart feels like it's being pricked by needles. Aren't I the same?" Papa Su added. "I knew that he was my son the moment I saw him because I could feel the bond of blood between father and son." Madam, fourth Mrs. Reminder is right. Don't let the scoundrel continue to get his way. We have to keep calm and not show anything when we get home. Don't worry, I'll make sure these swindlers die a horrible death." After the couple finished their discussion, they quickly returned home. When they saw the imposter sitting in the living room playing with her phone, they walked over to her as usual. Mama Su carefully studied the birthmark behind the imposter's ear, only to realize that it looked more like a tattoo than a natural birthmark. Mom, Dad, where have you been? Why are you back so late? To see an old friend. Mama Sue replied. It's getting late. Go to bed. The imposter nodded, picked up her phone and returned to her room. Soon Sue Ihong entered the house, exhausted. Dad, Mom. Ihong, how are the preparations for moving to Jianchuan coming along? Papa Sue asked. Dad, the environment there really isn't as good as our home. Are you sure you want to move there? Of course. It's a sad place for us and I want to start a new life with your brother and sister. Didn't we agree on that when we found your brother? Sue Ihong nodded. All right, the preparations are almost done and the place to stay is ready as well. Our family can move there anytime. That's good. The couple did not bat an eyelid at all. It was only when the brothers went to bed that they quietly took the imposter's toothbrush and sent it to the hospital's forensics department, paying a hefty fee to have it processed as soon as possible. Jing Yun's reunion with his parents went smoothly, but it also gave rise to more questions. For example, where did Sue Ihong find the imposter? Did he do it on purpose or was he a victim too? Jing Yun had been abandoned before, and now an imposter had appeared in the Sue family. They found it hard to believe that it was all a coincidence. That night, Jing Yun told Xing Xiao about what happened and Xing Xiao was intrigued. There's actually an imposter. Young master, what do you think about this? Be careful of your eldest brother. Xing Xiao simply watched. Moreover, the old man already knows about your relationship with fourth sister, and he's on the verge of losing his mind. When are you coming back? It would take around 3 days for the DNA report to come out. And here I thought it was just a simple reunion. I didn't expect there to be so many complications. Xing Xiao showed great interest in the matter. Someone is toying with you. How do you plan to retaliate, Jing Yun? As someone around Xing Xiao, he did not know what it meant to be taken advantage of. Especially when it was such a grudge. I'll make him wish he was dead. Mu Qiqi was lying on Xing Xiao's chest, and her tired head was immediately refreshed when she heard their conversation. I didn't think that someone would really impersonate someone else's son. Of course, it's easy to fool everyone with a fake DNA report, especially when the Sue couple misses their son so much. It's great that everything is going well for Jing Yun. Hurry up and do the DNA test, chase away the imposter and find out the truth. Do you want to join in the fun? Xing Xiao asked the little one in his arms, raising a brow. You're on vacation anyway and I could go around with you. You're afraid that there's a mastermind behind this and Jing Yun might fall for it. Mu Qiqi immediately saw through him. Of course I'm fine. It's just that Grandpa might ask about your whereabouts. He doesn't care where I go. That's settled then. Mu Qiqi appeared a little excited. And you really are like a real brother to Jing Yun, Xiao Xiao. Chapter 343. While Jing Yun and Xing Minglan could wait for 3 days elsewhere, old Xing could not. And now Xing Xiao had left Jianchuan with Mu Qiqi. What did that mean? Things between Jing Yun and Xing Minglan were definitely not as simple as Xing Xiao made them out to be. Was there anything else that could be said for Xing Minglan and Jing Yun leaving together? The old man was very angry. In fact, he was absolutely furious. But now that Xing Xiao was not in Jianchuan, the old man simply told Mama Xing when he had a meeting at the Xing residence that night. You gave birth to our son. It's your business to find him, but when Xing Xiao comes back, I hope that he will explain clearly what happened to fourth sister and that ingrate. As for fourth sister, I'll keep sending people to look for her. Mama Xing said nothing because she was angry too. I gave birth to our son, but I'm not the only one who should educate him, am I? Moreover, what happened between fourth sister and Jing Yun is ultimately a personal affair between them. Why should my son have to explain himself? Father, you don't have to put on an accusatory attitude. You're basically saying that Xing Xiao harmed your granddaughter. The old man was naturally even more displeased at Mama Xing's words. Xiaoqin, have you been influenced by Mu Qiqi recently and forgotten who you are? You're the matriarch of the Xing family. You're in charge of the family and everything. Who else should I look for if not you when something happens to the Xing family? I'll relay your message when Xing Xiao comes back. Mama Xing was too lazy to argue with the old man. Whatever happened to the Xing family, it was someone else's fault. Isn't that it? The old man was furious and irritated. Xing Minglan had chosen a watchdog of the Xing family instead of anyone else. She was the young lady of the great Xing family. Jingyun? Who the hell was Jingyun? How dare he scheme against the Xing family? To prevent Jingyun from causing more damage to the Xing family, the old man promptly ordered everyone in Huangyao to suspend Jingyun from his duties. What a toad lusting after a swan's flesh. A fool's dream. On the other side, Xing Xiao had brought Mu Qiqi and Jingyun to meet up. Naturally, Jingyun also learned from Xing Xiao that the old man was furious. Xing Minglan was a little worried. When she was resting at night, she sat on the bed and looked at Jingyun. I want you to promise me that you won't leave me behind no matter what happens. You won't say that you want me to go back to the Xing family alone for my own good. Jingyun turned and stared at Xing Minglan solemnly, holding her slender right hand as he calmly replied, Since we're together, I naturally won't abandon you. This has nothing to do with whether or not I'm a member of the Su family. Even if I've always been an orphan since I've gotten you, I won't let go of you so easily no matter what. Xing Minglan only hugged him when she heard that. You promised me. You can't go back on your word. Come. Jingyun lifted the blanket and sat on the bed, holding Xing Minglan tightly in his arms. I mean what I say. After loving Xing Minglan for so many years, Jingyun had long since fused her into his flesh and blood. And since they were together now, he naturally wouldn't simply push Xing Minglan away. Moreover, Xing Xiao was there. Even if the entire world couldn't believe it, it wasn't as if there was no turning back as long as Xing Xiao was there. Seeing that Xing Minglan had fallen asleep, Jingyun whispered softly to her in the dark. I'm so useless, aren't I? I have to rely on young master for everything. The Su family. It wasn't calm right now. The DNA test results would be out tomorrow morning due to the urgent processing. Although there was no suspense in the Su couple's mind, they were still nervous when they really had to face the evidence. Old Su, if our son is confirmed to be an impostor, wouldn't Yihong be fooled too? Of course. Papa Su replied. Or would your eldest son deliberately lie to you? What's there to lie about? Why aren't you two asleep yet? Behind the screen, Su Yihong had just entered the house when he sensed that his parents were having a serious discussion. Oh, I'm asking your father when we can move to Jianchuan and he said that you've already done it. Mama Su quickly changed the topic and answered her eldest son. Su Yihong nodded and put down his briefcase. Are you in a hurry, Mom? I'm just thinking that since we have to leave sooner or later, we might as well use this chance to get there earlier. Well, I'll hurry the people down there to get ready. Okay. The Su couple shared a look, but neither of them told Su Yihong about it, because they remembered Xing Minglan's instructions that it would be best if they had the evidence before revealing it to their family. Well, I'm going upstairs to rest. Su Yihong told his parents. His parents nodded and naturally didn't continue the topic. Meanwhile, Su Yihong was still feeling uneasy when he went upstairs, and so knocked on his brother's door. Keep an eye on Mom and Dad over the next few days. I have the feeling that they're hiding something from us. The imposter nodded and scratched his head. Bro, what is it? Su Yihong turned and asked. Nothing. The imposter was actually suspecting that his toothbrush had been swapped out. Although the one he was using now was no different from the one he used before, he had the feeling that it was a little new. Of course, Mama Su had swapped it out in secret. Even so, he didn't dare to tell Su Yihong, afraid that he would accuse him of making a mountain out of a molehill. The next morning, Mr. and Mrs. Su left the Su residence with the excuse that they were visiting a friend, and met up with Jingyun and Xing Minglan at the appraisal center. The results are out. The staff of the appraisal center handed the results to Papa Su. This is the urgent document you had to process. With the results, Papa Su deliberately opened it in front of everyone. Mama Su moved closer to read it too, and officially confirmed Jing Yun's identity. You really are my son. There's no mistake. You are our son. Both husband and wife promptly embraced Jing Yun. Jing Yun hugged his parents as well and led them away from the appraisal center. It was an expected outcome. Xing Minglan was pleased at that. Jing Yun, can you still say you're an orphan now? This isn't the place to talk. Let's talk somewhere else. The family returned to the hotel where Jing Yun was staying, and closed the door to their discussion. The results are out. The one in our house is definitely an imposter, but there are two questions now. First, how did the imposter contact Yihong? Second, how did the DNA test go unnoticed? Since Yihong was the one who did both, I can't help but be suspicious. Mama Su said to Papa Su. Chapter 344. We could call the police right away if Yi-hong was tricked too. Mama Su said. But, what if Yi-hong has something to do with it? Whatever the case may be, it's the greatest consolation that we have found our real son. Still, Jing-yun was very suspicious of his eldest brother, Su Yi-hong. After all, Xing Xiao had asked him to be wary of Su Yi-hong. Everything had been handled by him and he would definitely be involved in this matter. So why would he find an imposter? Well, Yifeng, come home with us. Mama Su told Jing-yun even as she wept. I want to make it up to you after all the years you've suffered outside. I want to find out why I was abandoned before. Jing-yun answered Mama Su. Our son is right. What if he hurts us again if we don't find the culprit? Papa Su answered Mama Su seriously as well. Whatever the case may be, we should deal with the imposter first and then talk to Yi-hong. I really don't know what Yi-hong is up to. He actually mistook his own brother for someone else. Jing-yun could see that the couple were calm and knew that they were thoughtful people. That was why he did not remind the couple or voice his doubts. Otherwise, Su Yi-hong would think that he was trying to sow discord between them. Well, I'll have to trouble my son to stay in the hotel for now. Fourth miss. Is Yifeng's girlfriend? Mama Su had a pair of sharp eyes and could see through their relationship at once. Blushing, Xing Mingwan nodded. Mama Su held her hand and praised her profusely. A young lady from a great family is so elegant and noble. No wonder Yifeng likes you. Moreover, you're my son's benefactor. I really don't know how to thank you. You're being too serious, madam. Xing Minglan quickly held Mama Su's hand and comforted her. With the DNA certificate in hand, the Su couple's hearts were completely at ease. They wanted Jing-yun to return to his family as soon as possible, but Jing-yun felt that now was not the time. The couple chatted with Jing-yun for the entire day, and it was 10 o'clock in the evening when they finally left. That was when Xing Xiao came in with Mu Qiqi from next door. Although your identity has been confirmed, you're still a stranger to the Su family, and it's not appropriate for you to interfere. Therefore, you can leave the matter of the imposter to your parents. What you need to do is investigate your eldest brother, Su Yi-hong. Jing-yun, this shouldn't be difficult for you. You have to understand him from the moment he was born until now. Young master, do you think that Su Yi-hong must be hiding a secret no one knows about? Xing Xiao told Jing-yun confidently. Jing-yun trusted Xing Xiao. He had never made a mistake in judging people over the years, and this matter was so obvious. Before the imposter entered the Su family, he must have planned many detours to mislead the Su couple. From the looks of it, your parents should be meticulous people, so they should know better than to deliberately provoke your eldest brother. Jing-yun nodded because he could sense that his parents were not impulsive people. Moreover, you must explain your and fourth sister's current stance and the predicament you're facing when you meet them next time. Otherwise, people could easily misunderstand that you're plotting something against Su Holdings when the Xing family is oppressing you. I understand. Mu Qiqi promptly worshipped her man from the bottom of her heart at Xing Zhao's words. After all, Xing Xiao was truly meticulous. He could see problems that others couldn't and put an end to them. It was no wonder why he never lost in the business world. On the way back, Mama Su showed her concern. Old Su, why do I feel that there's something wrong with eldest brother? Before the imposter entered the family, we had tried to find third brother many times to get some clues, only to be cut off. Moreover, I've told you before that we're not looking in the right direction. Papa Su was silent for a long time at her words. I hope that our theory isn't true. Whatever happens, we have to trust eldest brother on the surface. I know what to do, Mom. Papa Su replied. When they reached home, Su Yi-hong and the imposter were having dinner. Mama Su gave Papa Su a look and the two promptly understood. It was only after they had dinner that Papa Su sat on the sofa in the living room and asked the imposter, Yifeng, call your brother down. I have something to say. All right. The imposter nodded and went upstairs to call Su Yi-hong as well. What is it, Dad? Papa Su didn't seem to have anything to say when they were having dinner in the dining room. I have something to ask you two brothers. How did you find Yifeng back then? Su Yi-hong's face fell. His entire body was breaking out in a faint sweat, his mind blanking. I found Yifeng's birthmark by accident in a restaurant. Su Yi-hong reminded himself to calm down, and answered Papa Su's question with composure. What about the DNA test? Did you do it yourself? Dad, what's going on today? Su Yi-hong had an idea, and was afraid that his parents had discovered something. I have a document here. Take a look. With that, Papa Su took out the document and put it in front of Su Yihong. This is the latest DNA test report. This person before us isn't my son or your brother. The matter was exposed, but the two of them were not flustered. Su Yihong and the imposter promptly knelt before them. Dad, I'm sorry. Why? Because I don't want to see Mother keep searching. We don't even know if third brother is dead or alive in the sea of people, and it's too hard to keep searching like that. Moreover, I'm afraid that Mother's paranoia would worsen, which is why I arranged for this child to be your son. Su Yihong confessed honestly. It's only bloodline if we find our own flesh and blood. It's all meaningless if it's not our own child. Papa Su told Su Yihong. Do you know how much this hurts your mother? Dad, it's all my fault. Su Yihong took all the blame on himself. That way, even if it was a lie, it was because of his filial piety. We found your real brother. Papa Su then told them. Since this child isn't ours, I'll let you go since you didn't mean to deceive us. Go wherever you want. Su Yihong felt as if he had suffered an even greater blow when he heard that. Chapter 345. Thank you, Uncle Su. I really didn't mean to lie to you, and thank you for your magnanimity. I really don't want your assets, I just want to help my brother. Saying all that now was meaningless. Papa Su did not trouble the man and simply let him go. To Su Yihong, however, he abruptly entered a level 1 state of alert. His younger brother was really lucky to find his way home from thousands of miles away. He was really lucky. Since you found him, Dad, let's hurry and bring third brother home. Papa Su gave Su Yihong a long look before answering. There's no hurry. We have to find out who abandoned my son in Jianchuan all those years ago. Did that mean that his younger brother couldn't remember what happened before? If that was the case, there was still a chance to turn things around. Good. I can't let my brother suffer in vain all these years. But I want to see my brother. I want to apologize to him. My elder brother didn't give up looking for him. It was only because my mother's mental state was not good at that time that I had to do this. Your brother will understand. Papa Su said, rising to his feet. I know how to comfort your mother, so you don't have to explain anything to her. She wouldn't be upset if she remembers. I know. Well, I'm going upstairs to rest, Dad. Su Yihong slowly calmed down, his rationality slowly returning as well. Since his younger brother had appeared, he naturally had to meet him. Papa Su did not see anything in Su Yihong's eyes. After all, the imposter had appeared when his wife was in a daze, which was why it was understandable that Yihong would set up such a show to cure his mother's illness. You're letting the imposter go just like that? Mama Su asked Papa Su afterward. Papa Su explained everything to Mama Su, and only then dispelled her suspicions. I can forgive Yihong if he really did it because of my illness. Moreover, the child didn't cause any trouble for the Su family after coming here, nor did he ask for money. Still, who was the one who abandoned Feng Er in Jianchuan? Could it be that your big brother really captured Feng Er to take revenge on you? I'll have to ask eldest brother about that. Papa Su said. There's bound to be something. Very well, let's have Yihong and Feng Er meet tomorrow. Let the two brothers properly nurture their relationship. The Su parents had let the imposter leave because Su Yihong had taken full responsibility for the consequences. Even so, Xing Xiao would not let go of such a good resource like the imposter. After the imposter left the Su residence and received his reward, he naturally had to return home. Moreover, the reason he had been so obedient in the Su residence before was because Su Yihong had been strict with him. Since he was already paid, he naturally didn't need to covet the Su family's assets. Otherwise, wouldn't he be left with nothing if Su Yihong exposed him? Xing Xiao ordered Jing Yun to capture them. Jing Yun naturally seized the opportunity. He had gotten hold of the man's information over the last 2 days, and now that he was dragging his luggage out so late at night, it meant that Papa Su was going to lay his cards on the table. What came next was naturally the interrogation. Who are you? The imposter couldn't help being shocked when he saw them after his blindfold was removed. You're kidnapping me. Then do you know who you've been impersonating over the last 2 years? Xing Xiao asked in return. The imposter did a double take before coming to a realization. You're the real young master of the Su family? Xing Xiao shook his head and pointed at Jing Yun beside him. That's the one. Still, tell me why you were captured to replace him 2 years ago. I'll double what Su Yihong paid you. The impostor was immediately moved. Are you sure you wouldn't harm me? Why would we do anything to you if you're all fake? Xing Xiao asked in return, sitting on the sofa. The impostor paused for a moment before nodding. I'll admit that Su Yihong hired me to impersonate the third young master of the Su family. He had me tattoo a birthmark on my ear, and to help me deceive everyone he even forged a DNA test. Madame Su was sick at the time and missed her son, which was why Su Yihong hired me. What else do you know? Xing Xiao pressed. The impostor did a double take and thought carefully before answering them. Su Yihong didn't seem to want to know about his own brother, and had the intention of having me take his place in the long run. Moreover, he even took back all information about Mr. and Mrs. Su's search for their son. That makes sense to Mr. and Mrs. Su, since they wouldn't have to leave messages all over the streets now that they found their child. But Su Yihong is different. He knows that I'm fake. There's nothing unusual aside from that. Oh, and there's one more thing. Su Yihong's eldest uncle had come to him in private once. Since Mr. and Mrs. Su weren't around that day, Su Yihong thought that I'd gone out, but I didn't make a sound in my room. He only got rid of his suspicions when I climbed out the window and returned through the front door. The others had their own conclusions at that. You can leave, but I want to make sure that you and Su Yihong would have no contact. That's why we've recorded what you said just now. Brothers, I'm just asking for money. Now that both sides are paying me, I'm not a greedy person and know when to stop. The impostor was honest. Don't worry. I'll leave the country right after I get the money, and I'll send you a confirmation message. If Su Yihong learns that you've leaked that to us, I'll find you at the ends of the earth. The impostor studied Xing Xiao closely, finding him increasingly familiar the more he looked at him before pointing at him. You're Xing Xiao, the crown prince of Huangyao. At least you've got a good eye. As if discovering a new continent, the impostor's mouth gaped in shock, unable to say a word. Compared to Su Yihong, he was naturally more afraid of Xing Xiao. After all, the man was infamous. Don't worry. I wouldn't dare to offend the crown prince even if I had 10 guts. Xing Xiao would naturally let the impostor go since it was useless to keep him around. Still, he would send someone to monitor him at all times. It appeared that all the answers lay with Su Yihong, while Jing Yun was still investigating everything about Su Yihong. How much longer? Xing Xiao asked. Around 2 days. Jing Yun replied. Young master, I'm guessing that Su Yihong can't sit still. You would definitely want to meet me. Then meet him. It might even stimulate your memory and remind you of something. In Xing Xiao's mind, he had already convicted Su Yihong. Chapter 346. With Xing Xiao and the others leaving Jianchuan, the Sheng family certainly felt uneasy, especially the old man and Mama Sheng. Xing Xiao did not tell Mama Sheng about Jing Yun's parentage, nor did he explain why he brought Mu Qiqi away from Jianchuan. That way, Mama Sheng had no right to speak before the old man, because she had no confidence at all. How angry was the old man? Everyone in the Xing family could see it. The names Jing Yun and Mu Qiqi were like poison to the old man, and no one dared to touch them. He hated them so much, hating them for turning the Xing family upside down and leaving no one in peace. In the study, the old man was still fuming, but Mama Xing came up to him to comfort him. Father, Xing Xiao would definitely give you an explanation. He kept it from you. How dare you tell me that he would give me an explanation? Grandpa Xing asked Mama Xing in return. Eighth brother wasn't like this before. He wasn't like this at all. Ever since he got together with Mu Qiqi, he kept challenging my authority and my bottom line. Does Mu Qiqi have such a big impact on him? Mama Sheng's lips moved, but she said nothing. How could I hold myself back until they get married? Father, even if you don't care about anything else, shouldn't you care about the Shen family? In the end, the Shen family is a family of generals. Huang Yao is already on the verge of collapse. Why would I care about the Shen family? The old man sneered. Xiaoqin, I'll make it clear to you today. As long as I'm alive, Mu Qiqi would never marry into the Xing family. It's not just in life. Even in death, I would never allow Xing Xiao to be with Mu Qiqi in my will, or I wouldn't rest in peace. Mama Sheng's heart turned cold at those words. She was worried and indignant. Why was it always Mu Qiqi's fault in the end? Fourth sister and Jing Yun are in love. What does that have to do with Mu Qiqi? And Xing Xiao, forgive me for being blunt, but he would still be like that even if Mu Chichi didn't show up. He never obeyed you, and it's not something that only happens when Mu Chichi shows up. Why is Mu Chichi the scapegoat in the end? Dad, are you being fair? The old man flicked his sleeves and snorted. There's no such thing as fairness or unfairness. You can refuse to acknowledge Chichi, but you will never get eighth brother's obedience. Do you really think that eighth brother cares about Huang Yao and your family business? He can leave Huang Yao with nothing, but you know very well that he has the ability to make a comeback and build a career more glorious than Huang Yao. Is he threatened by you? Don't lie to yourself anymore. After that, Mama Xing turned around. I don't want to be in this family anymore. Dad, you can find someone else. Mama Xing did not say anything else and walked out of Grandpa Xing's study. Communicating with extreme people would only intensify the conflict in the end. There would be no other results. On the other hand, Xing Xiao guessed that the old man's patience was at its limit, so he gave Mama Xing a call. Where did you go? Don't you know that Grandpa Xing has been furious at the Xing family for days because he thought that all of you had eloped together? Mom, we've been investigating Jing Yun's background, and it's proven that he is the third young master of Su Holdings. Are you talking about that medical group? Mama Xing had heard about it too. Yes. Does that mean Jing Yun is a descendant of a rich family? Mama Xing asked in return, quickly catching the gist of Xing Zhao's words. Interesting, isn't it? Of course it is. Do you know what your grandfather called Jing Yun? A dog of the Xing family. With that, the old man's face would probably be slapped swollen again. How much longer do you need? Around 2 days. Alright, I'll hold it off for 2 days. Come back as soon as you can. After all, Jing Yun had been with the Xing family for so many years. He had worked hard even if not meritorious, but in the end, who in the Xing family would remember his kindness? Everyone treated his efforts as a matter of course. Even so, Jing Yun should be repaying fourth sister. What does that have to do with the rest of the Xing family? He had worked with the Xing family since he was young, and it was the Xing family who gave him opportunities. Even so, he had proven his ability with his achievements. But what did the old man think of him? A dog? If Jing Yun really was a dog, he would be better than those lazy worms in the Xing family. Thanks, Mom. By the way, did you know that your grandfather has blamed your rebellion and Jing Yun and fourth sister's problems on Mu Chichi? Xing Xiao did not say anything, but the light in his eyes was unusually sharp. The old man will not be able to stand it soon, and he will come up with new tricks. I wonder what he will come up with this time. Eighth brother, what I mean is leave the Xing family and marry into the Shen family. I won't stop you no matter what, as long as you don't have to stay with the Xing family and this place where you can't even breathe. I'm prepared, Mom. Don't worry. Xing Xiao replied. It's just that you have to suffer. I've lived for most of my life. What do I have to suffer? It's not like I can't live without the Xing family, so I won't talk to you anymore. Finish your business and come back as soon as possible. Xing Xiao hung up and turned to Mu Chichi. Did you hear that? Your mother-in-law is asking me to marry into the Shen family. Huh. Mu Chichi did a double take. Are you willing? The Shen family would welcome you 10,000 times over if you are. Little one. Xing Xiao pinched Mu Chichi's nose before burying himself in his work. Of course, Xing Xiao was aware that the old man had suspended Jing Yun from his duties as well. The next day, Mr. and Mrs. Su brought Su Yihong to the hotel, which counted as a formal greeting between Jing Yun and the so-called eldest brother. Xing Xiao did not show up and stayed with Mu Chichi in the room. Xing Minglan stayed beside Jing Yun, and the family ate in a luxurious dining room. Su Yihong sat beside Papa Su, studying his younger brother diagonally across from him. To think that the inconspicuous young man was actually his younger brother. He was nothing like the impostor before, and appeared so calm and composed without the vigor that a young man of his age should have. Ifing about the impostor, it was my fault. I didn't consider your feelings and I apologize. Your brother did it because of my illness. Mama Su quickly explained in Su Yihong's stead. I didn't take it to heart. Jing Yun replied. Well, how have you been living out there all these years? Then, how have you been out there all these years? Jing Yun knew very well that it was a ploy. Even so, he answered honestly, the Xing family saved me and I'm living well there. Chapter 347. Then have you remembered who you are and are looking for us? Not long ago the young madam of the Sheng family saw you giving a speech at Xingting University in Jianchuan. She thought that we look alike, which is why she helped me search for my identity. Jing Yun answered honestly. I see. Su Yihong nodded. Now that you're back, you should spend more time by mom and dad's side. They've missed you for years, and since we're moving to Jianchuan soon, you could move back home. Mama Su looked at Jing Yun expectantly. Feng will you? I still need some time to get used to it. Jing Yun answered sincerely again. Feng has just met his family. It'll be fine if you spend more time with them. Papa Su said cheerfully. That's true. I'm not doing my duty as a brother to take care of my younger brother, and I'll make it up to you twice as much. Is this young lady your girlfriend? After looking at Jing Yun, Su Yihong turned to Xing Minglan. She's the fourth daughter of the Sheng family and your brother's girlfriend. Mama Su answered on his behalf. Even so, there was something else in Su Yihong's eyes at that. Naturally, Jing Yun was looking straight at Su Yihong as well. Both brothers had their own thoughts, and neither could tell what the other was planning. Halfway through the meal, Su Yihong received a call. It appeared to be an emergency, and he rose to his feet to tell his parents, Dad, Mom, the lab has exploded. I have to go back and take a look. Hurry. Papa Su quickly said. Well, we'll meet in private, brother. Jing Yun nodded and watched as Su Yihong left. Still, he did not think that Su Yihong had left because of some accident, and that the call was merely an excuse to leave. Your brother is so busy. Mama Su smiled and began to serve Jing Yun some food. Jing Yun called out unnaturally, unbeknownst to Mama Su how moved she was. Hey, go ahead. There's something I'd like to tell you in advance. Minglan and I didn't get the support of her family, but that's not why I'm here looking for my parents. It's just too much of a coincidence to discover your existence, and I'm afraid you'll misunderstand. Jing Yun explained. Silly child, there's no misunderstanding. You're the third young master of the Su family. You're our precious son. Everything in the Su family belongs to you and your children. If you say that, Mom and Dad will feel even more guilty. That's right, Feng. You're our son, but you're actually restricted even when you're in a relationship. As a father, how uncomfortable is that? Thank you for your understanding. You're really too polite. Jing Yun had explained the issue beforehand so that Su Yihong would not have a chance to take advantage of it. Of course, Su Yihong had left the banquet not because of the explosion, but because he had sent someone to investigate how Jing Yun had been living in the Xing family over the years. Feng, just go to the Xing family and take care of your affairs. Tell me if you need anything, and when we get to Jianchuan, we'll directly announce your identity and bring you back to the Su family. Moreover, we could give the Xing family some compensation to thank them for their years of nurturing you. That was the most appropriate attitude parents should have towards their children. Jing Yun replied to his parents at that. I can repay the Xing family myself. Old Xing now saw him as a thorn in his side, and anyone who saw him would probably want to chop him into minced meat. Would he still dare to face the old man under such circumstances? Of course. He would bravely appear before the old man for Xing Minglan's sake. Xing Xiao was right next door. Naturally, he was not interested in the family's conversation. Still, he was curious about the relationship between Su Yihong and his eldest uncle. The impostor had said that the two had met in private. If that was the case, they must be connected to each other to some extent. Meanwhile, Su Yihong had certainly found a perfect excuse to leave the hotel, because he felt uncomfortable even looking at Jing Yun for a second longer. Soon he had someone investigate everything about Jing Yun in the Xing family. After all, Jing Yun was now hated by the old man, and it would be much easier for him to be investigated. That was why Su Yihong easily understood why Jing Yun was in a hurry to return to the Su family. When the Su couple returned home that night, they found Su Yihong waiting in the living room and went up to him. You have something to say to us? Dad, Mom, there's something I don't know if I should say. Su Yihong pretended to be troubled. Tell me. It's about your brother. A woman's intuition had always been accurate. I know you're happy to have found Yifeng, and I'm thrilled as your eldest brother. Still, I've investigated Yifeng for your safety, and found out that he has been working as an assistant to the Crown Prince of Huangyao over the years. The Xing family seems to be looking for him, thinking that he has eloped with the young lady of the Xing family. Don't blame me for being paranoid, Mom and Dad, I just think it's too much of a coincidence, isn't it? What are you trying to say? Papa Sue's face darkened at once. Is he trying to use the Sue family to help him marry fourth sister? Dad, I know it's only right since he's a member of the Sue family. But I really can't feel at ease if he really came home with ulterior motives. What do you think, Mom? Mama Sue looked at Sue Ihong as a stranger at those words. Ihong, are you hoping that your brother won't come home? Mom, I'm just afraid that you'll be fooled again. But the DNA test results are out. It's your brother and he looks exactly like your father when he was young. He's a member of the Sue family in every sense of the word. Mama Sue told Sue Ihong seriously. Your brother has suffered and been tired for so many years, and yet you, as his elder brother, did not help him find the culprit who abandoned him, and even accuse him of having ulterior motives? He's already explained it to us if you're worried about that. With that, Mama Sue returned to her room. I'm tired. I want to rest. Sue Ihong felt a chill inside. He did not expect Jing Yun to be so vigilant. He had already explained the matter to his parents, and yet he still tried to sow discord. It served him right to be scolded by his mother. It seems that he really should not underestimate Jing Yun. So he could sit still right now. But he would never expect that Xing Xiao would be peeling his skin off behind his back. Chapter 348. But what about his motive? Was he simply afraid that his brother would steal what belonged to him? That reason was so thin that it was not enough for him to take such a risk. Soon Jing Yun's men had some idea as well. Sue Ihong's first half of his life had been too outstanding and ordinary, and he had never stirred up a storm for Jing Yun. It was as if everything about him was under Jing Yun's control. The only suspicious point was the relationship between Sue Ihong and his eldest uncle. Young master, what do you think about this? Since we can't find the answer by following it, let's think in reverse and make a few hypotheses. Xing Xiao said to Jing Yun as he sipped his coffee. Let's say that there was a deal between your eldest brother and your eldest uncle. That means that you were abandoned by one of them. When your mother brought you to the airport where all kinds of people are mixed up, one of them took you away when your mother wasn't paying attention and sent you to Jianchuan to be abandoned. If that's the case, the fault lies with your mother. At the time, your father was fully on his guard against your eldest uncle, which was why the chances of him doing anything were minuscule. In other words, your father and your eldest uncle were fighting for control, and if your eldest uncle really wanted to do something like that, he would have captured you and your mother to threaten your father instead of sending you away. Moreover, your eldest brother had gone to the Sue family's mansion on the island the day before it happened. Who would have the chance now? Jing Yun's eyes became very deep at Xing Zhao's analysis. The answer lies with your eldest brother. Is he really afraid that you would share everything with the Sue family, or is there another reason? Still, since you have returned to the Sue family, it is only a matter of time before he makes his next move. Xing Xiao raised a brow. He would interfere with your parents' search for the culprit many years ago, and as long as you remain clear-headed, the truth would come to light sooner or later. I understand. It's fortunate that your parents are wise enough. With that being the case, we can return home. Xing Xiao smiled. Have the Sue family move to Jianchuan as soon as possible. That way you could have your men continue searching for clues here, and Jianchuan is our world. Your eldest brother would have to ask me if he really wants to do anything to you again. Xing Minglan listened to Xing Zhao's analysis and couldn't help praising Xing Xiao. We're all from the Xing family. Why are you so smart with that brain of yours? You ask me? Who should I ask? Xing Xiao smiled playfully. It's going to be another bloodbath if we return to the Xing family now. Who told you to like him? Xing Xiao asked in return, pointing at Jing Yun with his chin. It couldn't be helped. It was fate, and Xing Minglan could only resign herself to fate when she met Jing Yun. Late at night, the Sue family. Sue Ihong felt that he had really underestimated Jing Yun's ability. Don't forget who Jing Yun was with, the crown prince of Huang Yao. Who in the country didn't know what kind of person he was? How could Xing Zhao's subordinates be bad? Therefore, the move he made at night was indeed careless, and now it made his parents unhappy. Fortunately, he was just unhappy. If he could throw Jing Yun away once, he could do it again. He couldn't let Jing Yun remember everything. It would be too late if that happened. Then he dialed a familiar number, but he didn't save the name. Hello. Mom and Dad have found third brother. They're investigating why he was abandoned at Jianchuan all those years ago. Su Yihong told the person on the other end. Let them. They wouldn't find any evidence unless that brat remembers it himself. Otherwise they can't do anything if you deny it. The person on the other end replied. Most importantly, don't let them find out who you are. Of course I know how to take precautions. Su Yihong replied. But you have to create some distractions to confuse them. Don't worry about that. I'll slowly look for a chance. Looks like I have to earn my brother's trust first. Su Yihong was a good thinker, which was why he told his mother the next morning, Mom, I was overthinking last night. I shouldn't have doubted Yifeng like that. He's been out there all these years and who knows how much suffering and mockery he's endured. Even if I have to give up my life today, I should make it up to him. It's good that you know. Well, why don't you and Dad go with Yifeng to Jianchuan? The house there is already prepared anyway, and you could visit Yifeng when he goes to the Xing family as a way to thank the Xing family. While you're at it, you could also announce Yifeng's identity in front of the Xing family. That way, Yifeng would be able to hold his head up high in the Xing family. What do you think? Mama Su found that reasonable at that. We'll do as you say. Yihong, you have to take good care of your brother from now on. Don't worry. I'll take good care of Yifeng. Since Yifeng is returning to Jianchuan in the afternoon, we might as well not tell him. We'll give him a surprise and go straight to the Xing family. That works. Su Yihong nodded. That way old Xing would be caught off guard. Even if the Xing family had nurtured Jing Yun, whose son were they looking down on? Mama Su was very protective of her son. Mama Su told Papa Su about the matter, who agreed wholeheartedly. Well, we'll make it public when we get to Jianchuan. Who cares about the Xing family or Huang Yao? What's so bad about the Su family? Jing Yun was not aware of his parents' plans. Meanwhile, the quartet were already on their way back to Jianchuan. Jing Yun intended to bring Xing Minglan to old Xing and lay all his cards on the table. Of course, he did not intend to use his parents' name to beg for the old man's forgiveness. After all, what if he was not lucky enough to reunite with his parents? No matter what the consequences were, he could bear it even if the old man said or did something ugly. Xing Minglan could guess what Jing Yun was thinking and so tightened her grip on his hand. Sometimes I don't know if you're a stickler for the rules or stubborn. Either way, the chairman would find out sooner or later. Let him accumulate some embarrassment first, and it would be much easier for old Master Xing to agree to the marriage later. That was Jing Yun's little plan, and he told no one about it. Seeing that the two were on high alert, Mu Qiqi smiled, leaning over Xing Zhao's body. I wonder what a good show the Xing family would have tonight. Meanwhile, Mr. and Mrs. Su had boarded the plane earlier than Xing Xiao and the others so that they wouldn't miss their visit to the Xing family. Why don't you guess? Xing Xiao pinched the tip of Mu Qiqi's nose. Chapter 349. Once the quartet's flight reached Jianchuan, old Xing's men at the airport went up to Xing Minglan and caught her. I'm sorry, fourth sister. Xing Minglan stared at Jing Yun in shock. Jing Yun wasn't any better. 2 security guards came up to him and held him down, ready to bring both of them back to Xing Mansion. Xing Xiao and Mu Qiqi were right behind them, but Xing Xiao did not interfere. It's obvious how angry the old man is. Will Jing Yun be fine? Will the old man eat him? With that, Xing Xiao led Mu Qiqi to the airport parking lot and drove his sports car back to Xing Mansion. When the old man learned that they were caught at the airport, he had the entire Xing family return home early to see how this family scandal would be dealt with. Soon the two were brought back to Xing Mansion. Almost everyone in the Xing family was there, including Mama Xing, who had just returned from Huang Yao without delay. After all, it was a matter of 2 children. The old man was sitting at the main seat in the living room. He promptly closed his eyes and took a deep breath when he saw Xing Minglan and Xing Xiao being brought into the living room, as if trying hard to control himself. You still remember to come back, the old man said meaningfully before opening his eyes to look at them. Come here, fourth sister. Xing Minglan looked at the old man and then at Jing Yun. Her heart was filled with fear, but she had promised Jing Yun that she would never surrender to the old man. That was why even if she hesitated for a moment, she still slowly approached the old man. The old man cocked his head and rose to look at her. But before he could say anything, a slap flew towards her. That was when Jing Yun stepped forward and the old man's slap landed on his head, startling Xing Minglan and every other member of the Xing family. Jing Yun, I'm fine. Jing Yun's ears were ringing from the force of the slap, and one could imagine how much strength the old man had used. You're just a watchdog of the Xing family. What right do you have to take a slap for the young lady of the Xing family? Grandfather. Xing Minglan quickly stepped in front of the old man. Get out of my way. Grandpa Xing pushed her away. I don't have a shameless granddaughter like you. What's the difference between you and seventh sister? It's just that they're all willful and impulsive. Jing Yun did not retort at all. He simply reached out to hold Xing Minglan because she almost fell because of Grandpa Xing's strength. It's me who likes Miss Minoru. This has nothing to do with her. Chairman, if you want to cause trouble, come at me. The old man's face and ears were red. It was obvious that he was furious to the extreme, which was why he paced around the living room. Jing Yun, tell me, how ungrateful can you be? The Xing family took you in, raised you and groomed you. Is this how you repay me? Who are you? Don't you know what's going on? I'll tell you clearly today that the women of the Xing family will only marry rich men. They would never marry someone like you. Even if you can't bear to part with each other, even if you already have a child, you must abort it. I will never let any random person enter the Xing family's territory. Jing Yun, do you know how disgusting you are? What has the Xing family not treated you well? Why would you bite the hand that fed you? Jing Yun said nothing. He simply endured it in silence. Xing Minglan could not listen to it anymore. She walked up to Jing Yun and told the old man, "You're just my grandfather. What right do you have to interfere with my life? I can be with whoever I want. What right do you have to interfere? Because I'm your grandfather. Because I raised you. If I wasn't born into the Xing family, do you think I would want to stay in this hell? Are you satisfied if everyone lives like they're in prison?" Xing Minglan questioned the old man loudly. "Do you think I care about you raising me? I just didn't have a choice." Xing Minglan. You look down on Mu Qiqi and Jing Yun. Do you know that you're the one we all look down on the most? Grandfather, you interfere with our children's freedom and arrange our marriages. Do you know that the Xing family has suffered so many tragedies because of a dictator like you? I'll kill you. The old man was utterly infuriated. He walked up and tried to hit Xing Minglan with his crutch, but Jing Yun caught him. Chairman. The old man glared at Jing Yun with bloodshot eyes, and then at Xing Minglan, who was behind him. Finally he put down his crutch. No matter how much you hate me, I'm your grandfather. That will never change. And since I'm your grandfather, I won't allow you to mess around outside. From today onward, stay at home and never leave. I'll send someone to watch over you and follow you until you marry someone I'm satisfied with. As for him, what do you want to do to him? Xing Zhao's voice reached everyone's ears from the door. The old man turned to look at Xing Zhao and promptly swung his crutch at him. Xing Zhao dodged it and sat down with Mu Qiqi. Did I miss a good show? You can't protect your dog even if you come back. The old man snorted coldly. Why do I feel that this dog of mine is much better than your good-for-nothing dog? Xing Zhao retorted. You can look down on Jing Yun, but he doesn't owe you anything. You know very well how much Jing Yun has done for Huang Yao over the years, and you're just bullying him because he's not good with words. Eighth brother, why are you still meddling in fourth sister's affairs when you've found yourself a bride? Second uncle was naturally displeased with Xing Zhao's actions. She was his daughter after all, and although he had neither the right nor the right to control her, she was his daughter after all. I don't want to, but can you, second uncle? Xing Zhao's retort left second uncle speechless. That's why you're more guilty than those two, the old man said, pointing at Xing Zhao. Xing Zhao was not annoyed and simply held his little one's hand, looking as if he was never afraid of anyone. So, what do you plan to do with those two? I'll find another suitable candidate and marry your fourth sister to him. And then this person. The old man pointed at Jing Yun, his words as humiliating as he could. I'll make sure he has no place in Jianchuan. How dare he seduce the granddaughter of the Xing family? I'll make sure he dies a horrible death. He won't have no place to stay. He could stay in Jingting however he wants. Xing Zhao quickly answered with a smile. That's why your threats are meaningless. Chapter 350. Jing Yun did not speak for a long time. But at that moment he finally spoke with a very sincere tone. Chairman, Miss Minglan and I are in love with each other. I know that you feel humiliated by my identity and status. What we have done is very hurtful to you. But Minglan is an independent person with a complete personality. Even if you could lock her up for a while, you can't lock her up forever. As for me, you look down on me now because I have nothing. I have nothing to say, but I can't be poor for the rest of my life. I can do many things for Minglan, including building a new business empire for her. You. The old man couldn't help sneering. You dare boast like that with your background? I have no background, but chairman, the ancestors of Huang Yao had built this empire bit by bit. Moreover, you should know very well how capable I am after so many years. I really can. A beggar is a beggar. So what if you are capable? There are millions of capable people in this world. Do you think I would agree to every one of them marrying Minglan? The old man sneered. You're right. I do look down on you, but it's not just because you have nothing and no background, but also because you're an ingrate and a traitor. How could the Xing family tolerate a stain like you? Chairman, that's enough. Don't even think about saying sweet nothings to me. I will never agree to you being with fourth sister. Today you stood here and took a slap for fourth sister. You didn't act like a coward and didn't dare to admit what you did. I respect that you have some backbone. However, if you come into contact with Minglan again, I will definitely cripple you. Tisk tisk. Xing Xiao clicked his tongue before laughing at the old man. Don't be so hasty. What if you missed out on a golden bachelor? Eighth brother, I'm going to punish Jing Yun even if you're here today. Do whatever you want as long as you don't regret it. Xing Xiao mocked. I don't believe you could eat him. I can't eat him, but I can dismember his limbs. He's just a stray dog. Everyone was stunned at those words. While the Xing family had always been insufferably arrogant, they had never humiliated and trampled on others like this. Furthermore, it was harming someone else's body. This was retribution. Xing Minglan looked worriedly at Jing Yun, who blinked and reassured her. Xing Minglan covered her face and sobbed in a corner. She really hated the Xing family and Grandpa Xing's control. If you dare touch Jing Yun, just wait for my corpse tomorrow. Xing Minglan threatened the old man. I won't let him go even if you threaten me this time. Jing Yun, you go first. Xing Xiao no longer had the patience to continue arguing with the old man and so told Jing Yun, I promise you that the old man will send fourth sister to you in no time at all, begging you to stay with the Xing family. Jing Yun looked at Xing Xiao and then at Xing Minglan. Xing Minglan also wanted him to leave. Go first. I promise you that I will take care of myself. But I want to take you away. Jing Yun. Xing Xiao's hint was clear. Jing Yun must leave now. Arguing with the old man would only worsen the conflict. One could imagine that Jing Yun would never get past the old man if he wasn't a member of the Su family. It was Xing Zhao's last test for the old man, and he no longer held any hope in the old man when he saw how the old man was behaving. Don't even think about leaving. Go. Xing Xiao shouted at once. Could the old man do anything to Xing Xiao? No. Anyone who stops Jing Yun today will go home and eat themselves. If you're afraid of being fired by the old man and won't listen to my orders, just wait for my retribution. I believe it would be carved into your bones. Xing Xiao was threatening the security guards and servants. At this moment the servants were in a dilemma. The others did not even dare to breathe too loudly and the atmosphere was tense and stiff. In the end, Jing Yun looked at Xing Minglan and said, Wait for me. He understood then that authority and status were so important. If he didn't have a trump card, he wouldn't have been able to take Xing Minglan away even if he died here. All of them knew how disgusting old Xing could be. Mama Xing couldn't help sneering at the sight. To think that there's such a grandfather in this world. What a surprise. I'll definitely wait for you, Xing Minglan told Jing Yun. Then Jing Yun bowed 3 times at the old man before leaving the living room. The old man couldn't do anything to him because Xing Xiao was protecting him with everything he had. That's how you pushed your fourth sister into a pit of fire. That's how you are, a traitor. Don't think that I can't do anything to him if he walks out the door. Of course you can trouble him in private, but I'm sure you won't be able to soon because you're so snobbish. Just as Xing Xiao finished, the butler rushed in from outside and told the old man, Master, it's a visiting card from Su Holdings. The couple said that they're here to thank you. The old man took the card and saw that it was from a major family and asked the butler, Where are they? Outside. Please come in. Su Holdings and Su Holdings had seen Jing Yun being brought to the Xing residence, but had stayed outside the door all along and did not enter. When they saw Jing Yun walk out of the house, they knew that their son had been wronged. Of course, they didn't go up to comfort him since everyone had their pride. They could all see how much Jing Yun blamed himself for it. He felt useless, incapable, and had nothing at all. He couldn't snatch Xing Minglan from the old man's hands. Be that as it may, Xing Shao was the only one in the Xing family who wasn't suppressed by this old man. Who could win against him? Heartbroken, the Su couple hurried to the old man's door to demand justice for their son. Old Xing simply didn't know why the Su couple would come to thank him. What was there to thank? While the Xing family was still around, he told them to change their expressions and treat their guests better. Soon, the Su couple entered the living room and greeted the old man politely. "You must be old Mr. Xing. I've heard so much about you." Old Xing reined in his rage and became courteous towards them. After all, he had heard of Su Holdings' reputation as well. "May I know what urgent matter brings you to my humble abode?" You're tuning in to the Dreamy Chapters YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.